Welcome to the Super Mario Odyssey Any Tournament Grand Finals. Just casually taking the world record in any race we've seen in this game.
This year has been playing pretty phenomenal, actually. If we look back,
Your opponent, it's going to be Suisaiga. What do you think?
Yeah,
Final
well,
match.
seeing as I'm higher than him on the leaderboards, I think it'll be pretty easy. Sure. Oh, Stravos dying on Spewer.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Global Speedrun Association. The day has come. We are here at the Any Percent Grand Final of the whole tournament, and I'm joined by my man, Okra Armband on call commentary. I am actually so excited, I can't put it into words.
I'm actually shaking a little bit right now, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like there's been so much anticipation coming up to this moment, for this day, for this race between these two phenomenal runners, and I'm super excited to get into it.
This has been a pretty phenomenal journey. We've seen some incredible races. And I think, let's be honest, these two guys deserve to be here. They are both amazing runners. Currently second and third worldwide. So they definitely deserve to be here, no question. And also, as far as racing goes, they've shown their consistency. These are amazing runners. So, guys, if you're new here, we are playing Super Mario Odyssey Any Percent A category, where you try to beat the game as fast as possible. And as these guys go through their ways, we'll get into all of the specifics, all of the tricks, sort of the little optimizations we've figured out, because this game is not even a year old, but we've come such a long way. This is actually amazing how far we've pushed this game already.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about just like how optimized the game is, I mean, I'm a little biased personally, but if you think about, all the speedrunners that we've had, all the greats who've done routing and all kinds of stuff, all their eyes were on this game as soon as it came out. So I'd say we got a couple of years worth of optimization within the half a year or so, just because of all the attention that's been given to this game. It's absolutely insane how far it's come already, even from day one. It hasn't been a full year yet. It's been 11 months almost to the day.
It's really incredible. It's really incredible. And I think we have the chance today to go a little bit more in depth as far as the matchup analysis goes, because we've prepared something. We've actually been tracking these guys through this entire tournament, the way they've been performing. And this might seem a little weird, like we have a lot of short terms here for tricks and so on. We're going to get into it, and I'm going to start with a little bit of analysis for Stravos here. Stravos' PB on the leaderboards right now is a 1 hour, 1 minute, and 24-second run. He's second in the world with that time. And he averages a time of 1:03.41 in this tournament so far. He's been maybe taking it a bit more lightly in some races, but he's pretty much performing very well as far as the races go. Stravos is the kind of runner that goes for every little optimization. He's been grinding this game as like no one else really, has been looking into the very small details and really try to understand these like small tricks. And what's really important, though, is going to be this section down there, the trick consistency, as these three tricks in specifically are super important as far as the actual performance in your race goes. So the first one is FMS, or called First Moonscape. We're going to get into this as we go into the race, but this is a version-exclusive trick which you perform on a very weird rock. The properties of that rock are very weird, and you skip the entire first moon in this game, which doesn't seem like much, but it actually skips huge amounts of cutscenes. And getting that first try, Stravos has been showing a consistency from 57.1% here, which is actually quite decent. So first try FMS is something that you can't really, like, that's not common. It's nice if you get it, but you see people, especially in a race setting, fail that. Nutclip on the other side, that's a huge one. This is the race killer in these days. That's a strat that only has been around since June, was found in late June, and it allows us to do an entirely new Wooded Kingdom route, which is actually amazing. This route saved 30 seconds over the old route, and if you miss that clip, you only get one shot at it, but we're going to get into it as we get into the race. So Stravos' consistency there is 75%. And Snowdram, incredibly hard jump. We're also going to get into it as we go in the race, but Stravos' consistency here, 80%, very, very strong.
Mm-hmm. So we've kind of talked a little bit about Stravos. You know, his average time in this term has been a little bit far away from his personal best. We kind of think of him as a little bit of a wild card, right? Suisaiga is the picture of consistency. When I think of a consistent runner, it's Suisaiga. He's in third place on the leaderboard, time of 1 hour, 1 minute, 26 seconds. And his average time in this tournament has only been 1 minute behind that, which is absolutely insane to play on average 1 minute behind your PB in a race setting. It's just absolutely nuts. And, you know, coming down to the trick consistency, you might argue that tricks, as you get further on in the run, are more crucial, more important to not mess up, to have that time save going for you. And so to see a 100% consistency on Nutclip is just mind-boggling. But
it's amazing.
That's just who Suisaiga is he is very consistent. He will not necessarily go for all the crazy things we're probably going to see from Stravos, but you know what he does, he's got it nailed. He's not going to miss anything. Of course, commentators curse, right? But I believe in him. I don't think I can curse him. I don't know.
I agree. I definitely agree. And this one is actually going to be a best of 3. So I think we are set and good to go to start the series up. It's going to be amazing. You guys have heard anything about our thoughts on this matchup. I'm not going to call any favorites here. In my opinion, Stravos is a huge wild card. He's either going to literally get world record in this race, or he's going to maybe fail horribly. We don't know yet. Suisaiga tends to be a very consistent player, and I'm actually just super excited for this to start. I can't wait. And I think we're on our way too.
But yeah, you talk about potential for runners to get world record here. It's not out of the question. They're 5 seconds away from the world record. Their PBs, that is. So I mean, if it's gonna happen in a race, this is the race.
I absolutely agree with that. And we are on our way, starting this run in the very famous Cap Kingdom. It's the kingdom everybody knows. It's the kingdom everybody loves, especially if you speedrun any percent. In this game, we're going to be syncing up right here, and we are on our way. So Cap Kingdom, let me get quickly into it. It's a hated place for any top runner because it's at the point where it's so short. There's actually almost no gameplay, but the gameplay you do is incredibly optimized. And we're going to be starting off this one with a so-called spin pound, which is a strat to get basically to maximum speed out of nowhere. You can buffer your spin input into a very fast ground pound to obtain instantaneous fast momentum.
Yeah, movement with in this game, the fastest form of movement on flat ground is rolling with motion controls. So speedrunners shaking their controllers at GDQs, but the best way to get into rolling immediately is by spin pounding, because it reduces the animation of Mario ground pounding. He just immediately ground pounds and starts rolling and starts going super, super fast. And Stravos actually, I believe, is the world record holder for Cap Kingdom DIL. So, already just tiny little bit ahead of Suisaiga right here, because he's grinded the heck out of this place.
Yeah, this place, once again, super optimized. The strat that you see these runners do here is called vectoring. It's basically a improved air momentum technique where you hold a specific angle, but coming up here is the so-called left side strat. It's a very precise jump. You're not intended to go this way. Both of these runners nailing it here. Very hard strat to learn.
But they both get it, and they're going to be doing some fast topper fights here. Buffering a spin pound there for Stravos. Suisaiga not going to be going for that strat. Again, tiny little things like that Stravos has put into Cap Kingdom here. He's pretty good at it. It's a little bit faster, so he goes for it. But again and again. So Suisaiga didn't really lose any time from that, but Stravos got that half second or whatever. So he's greedy like that, you know. That's his trademark.
Yeah, that's how Stravos is. And short public announcement coming in here, this longer cutscene. I want to introduce you guys to the giveaway we are having today. Type in ! giveaway to hear everything about it. We are going to be launching 2 all-new channels, Speedrun SMO and Speedrun SM64. A ton of content coming your way. We are going to have insane announcements later on. Make sure to follow these channels to enter these giveaways, but both of these runners are coming up here at the first Moonskip. So what they are doing is they're throwing out Cappy into a ground pound roll to basically bridge that gap. So Stravos getting it first right. It's very important. Suisaiga actually struggling quite a bit to find a fast opening on that one. It's a pretty weird trick because the rock has such a weird property.
Yeah, and this is one of the tricks that if you miss it one time, the punishment is not too terrible compared to everything else in the game. But struggling with it for an extended period of time like this will definitely set you back.
Gets it right there, though, I think.
Yeah, so he finally made it over the invisible wall there. So Stravos is actually now halfway through the boss fight before Suisaiga has even started it. Just to kind of show you the kind of difference that could make. Repeated failures do kind of make that gap widen, but again, missing FMS one time, not a big deal. Missing it 5 times,
it's definitely still good to go. So Stravos showing off the fast boss strats for Madame Brutal, which is basically the mother of all these little bunnies we are fighting all along over the speedrun. We have pretty much for all of these bunny fights, we have figured out some pretty precise and pretty fast strats. In this case, we basically jump on top of the chain chomp as she's throwing it at us, and then we capture it immediately to hit her back. But once again, even though Suisaiga definitely lost a bunch of time here trying to get this very precise first moon skip, this run is incredibly optimized already, incredibly packed full of hard strats that can lose you time everywhere. So it's nowhere near to be like everything can change literally in the next kingdom. And we're going to tell you all about it as we get there. But one thing I really want to go into here as Stravos approaches that is the so-called moon clipping, which is once again a fairly new mechanic that we are using later in the run. And it's going to be very important there. We're going to get into that as we approach Wooded Kingdom.
Yeah, but basically, as you spawn this moon from the treasure chest that Stravos is heading to, the moon spawns and you can position yourself backflipping into it, cap throwing, to slightly move Mario, and he actually moves out of bounds. Ooh, Stravos actually failing that trick there. He went for it, but didn't quite get out of bounds. You can actually use that moon to clip out of bounds, head straight up to the Odyssey to deposit your moons and move on to the next kingdom. So we can use spawning moons to do this. Suisaiga is probably going to go for it here as well. In Cascade, it's not a huge time save, so it's not a really big deal if you get it or not. It's just nice, but we will be revisiting this later. Nice. Suisaiga actually does get it, so he's out of bounds and heads straight up to that globe, saving a little bit of time traveling there. So very nice on Suisaiga. We'll come back to this in the Wooded Kingdom.
So really visible right there how this is actually able to save time, because Suisaiga didn't even have to go out of the cave. He just clipped through the ceiling and basically straight up made it to that globe, and saving that very valuable time there over Stravos that he lost earlier doing the first moon skip. But there's not going to be much breaks going from here, because Sand Kingdom is another packed place with very precise movement and also a out of bounds clip that these runners are going to be utilizing. This one is version restricted. These runners run on the oldest version of the game pretty much to have access to all of these tricks. And yes, Wings clip, we're going to get to this, is a pretty big one. But as we start Sand, it's pretty much mainly fast-paced and clean movement to get an optimal time.
Yeah, we're going to see in a little bit of time some pretty crazy stuff coming out. But right at the beginning, it's just, hey, you know, what are the fastest moons you can get, right? Because you do need 16 moons to leave Sand Kingdom to go on to the next one. So trying to get them as quickly as possible is the goal. So what if this, you know, early days of routing was, what are the 16 fastest moons we can possibly get? And so these first couple of moons have just been in the route for forever, basically. I mean, this moon's right in town. We're heading to the dune. Pretty fast stuff, but we're coming up on some pretty tricky stuff, actually, that was I want to say December-ish, and has only recently been super optimized. So Stravos is going to get this moon on the archway and then try to pull off the Dram strat, if you want to take that.
Legendary name in the speedrun community. Dram, very famous runner, and he actually thought to himself, Wait, we are gonna go into a very weird alcove where we are stuck. Let's see if we can make that faster somehow. And what Stravos is gonna be trying here is gonna be trying to bring Cappy in a very precise spot during this backflip here, and then dive towards that moon. And he wants to shake Cappy now to home into the bullet bill that got spawned after, and he gets it. Always so satisfying to see.
And he's actually skipping Dram Dram. It's a second version of Dram. We call it Dram Dram because it's double Dram, whatever. This is a newer route that cuts out the second Dram and instead replaces it with notes. So Suisaiga gonna be going for the same trick.
He might have missed it.
Yeah.
He was wall sliding for a little bit too long and he missed his window there. So he might actually go for a different route. Stravos opting for the very fastest route available. Suisaiga is going to do it too. So both of them are going to get the notes moon later on.
And here's Sphinx clip. You can just kind of do a roll cancel clip to go out of bounds on this wall here. Stravos gets a third try. Very nice. Roll cancel. Roll canceling is what it sounds like, canceling your roll. You can ground pound and roll. If you immediately cat throw and jump, you will cancel the roll and Mario will throw his hat. For some reason, if you do this on, while you're standing in front of some walls, you just go right through it, which is super helpful to, eliminate waiting for the flowing sands and get into this room without talking to the Sphinx to move it. So very nice trick there. Suisaiga's struggling just a little bit with this Sphinx clip. He's getting the roll cancel, but he's not clipping through the wall. He's just going with speed to the left and bonking.
Yeah, very precise strat. You really gotta have your inputs just right to clip into this wall. And he's really struggling right there. So there's actually two ways to perform that. You can even clip into the wall twice to gain access to an even faster route, but Suisaiga clipping out of bounds right there. So he's through.
Yeah, and all kinds of tiny optimization things you see Stravos doing there. Like, you don't have to spin throw your hat when you land on that ledge to open that treasure chest super fast, but he does it because he can, so, whatever.
Yeah, this is either going to be, once again, Stravos winning this race very easily, or it's going to be his downfall. That's the way he plays. He's going to be doing these insanely small optimizations to gain small leads on every single moon, but they are all so tricky and punishing. If he misses one single optimization, he might lose all of the time he previously obtained doing them. So it's a pretty tough call, but Stravos always proved to be that player to take it one step further.
And he does make that bird cycle as well, which is super nice. From the moment you leave the Sphinx sub-area to coming out and, collecting the rest of your moons, that bird starts its cycle, and it's just on a timer going around on its path. And you have to be in the oasis at the time that bird is where you want it to be, basically. If you're too slow, too fast, it won't be in the right position. So being able to make that cycle cleanly on top of doing all those crazy little things is just a testament to how good these runners are.
Yeah, this is quite interesting to see. It's a fairly recent route change where we realized getting this node moon optimally, because I'm not sure if you've seen it, but previously when they were doing the Dram strat, there was actually a moon sitting there right next to them in a crate, hidden in a crate. But that moon is connected to some very long cutscenes. So it turns out getting that nodes moon with some optimal movement is actually even faster. And Stravos leaving the sand here with a split for 10 minutes and 20 seconds, which is actually very, very solid.
That's pretty hot, not gonna lie. But yeah, so heading out of the Sand Kingdom here into Lake, you can technically go to Wooded first. You have a choice, but most runners will just mash A and auto choose Lake. This is one of the shortest kingdoms in the entire run. It's very optimized. It's very, you can't miss a beat here. Pretty much everything is blink and you'll miss it.
And it's kind of nice that it's a bit like less energy in this kingdom. You don't do too many hard strats, at least currently. There's some things in the talks, but let's not get into this yet. It's nice though, because the kingdom after this one is literally the biggest race killer that you could imagine, and we're gonna get into that as they get there. But next kingdom, Stravos could easily lose his lead. We've seen it all. There's gonna be a very, very important moon clip coming up in Wooded. But right now, Stravos showing some pretty fancy movement here, rushing through the stage and Lake, doing these spin pounds all over the place to gain instant, fast momentum out of nowhere.
And I do want to talk for a second about live proof. We do have a method here to ensure that these runs you're seeing are live. These runners are doing it fresh. This is not pre-recorded footage or anything. So we have arranged 3 moons for the runners to take screen captures using the Nintendo Switch screen capture feature. So on this moon that Stravos is about to collect from the Broken Pillar, we ask that they take a screenshot so that they can prove, hey, I'm doing this live. capture
Yeah.
taken. These moons are randomly generated. We gave it to them right before the run started. So this is just a, hey, you're doing this live, right? Right, cool. So that was the first one. We'll touch on the other two when we get there.
Exactly, so Stravos is going to be fighting Rango, another one of these bunny bosses. And once again, it's just so nice for the speedrunning kind of view, that all of these bunnies seem to have a fairly consistent fast strat going for them. In this case, we backflip on top of his head to basically end his animation of his attack immediately. He doesn't even have a chance to attack. We immediately stop him, hit him 3 times, as Mario games tend to be, and really...
Yeah, I mean, again, blink and you'll miss it. The boss fight's just over in an absolute rush. Most of the boss fights are pretty fast just because of a way to fast cycle them or skip phases or something like that. SuisaigaW getting his screen capture as well. So yeah, cheap jump here. It's more well understood now than it was in early days. Runners aren't really missing it nowadays, but it's just one of those things that if you sleep on it, it will come and bite you.
Exactly. So Stravos already leaving Lake, and what you are about to see in Wooded Kingdom is nowhere near anything you would encounter in a casual playthrough. We, once again, basically in June, found this strat called moon clipping, which allows us to use moons to clip out of bounds, meaning we can basically go through walls. And the way Wooded Kingdom is built, especially, it's a super open kingdom, and it has like many layers going up top. And we use this moon clip to access an out-of-bounds section and basically climb this entire place from inside. We are not supposed to get there, but we can anyways. And once again, this clip that Stravos is about to do here, very soonish, you only get one shot at it. There is a backup, but he definitely wants to get this clip. And we are, once again, remind you as he comes up, it's the 4th moon in this kingdom, starting up with some more relaxed parts here, hitting this bunny, getting a moon from a rock.
Yeah, this is one of those things that, again, in early days, we're like, oh, this is super cool. You can hit the bunny to spawn its moon while you're doing the rock. You know, we can multitask and do things at the same time. It's faster. It's awesome. We didn't have any idea about what was about to come with clipping out of bounds and doing all kinds of weird, crazy stuff.
That's so true.
So, you know, shout out to early days. He got the heart skip. He didn't accidentally try to purchase the heart. He instead purchased the moon. Way to go.
Hey. And do not get confused. You cannot buy as many moons as you want. You can only buy 1 in the first visit, and we are going to buy another one in Snow Kingdom. But let me get quickly into this weird trick. So he's going to try to do the moon clip that SuisaigaW pulled off in Cascading the second moon earlier. He's going to try to backflip into this moon as it spawns and throw Cappy precisely. That actually doesn't look too good. I'm not sure if he clipped.
He is not out of bounds.
He missed it. This is Sui's chance.
This is actually really important because if you don't get that out of bounds movement, you can't get those 2 moons accessible to you out of bounds. Your route is just different. He is going to try to back it up here. There's another alternative method to get out of bounds. First try, which is actually insane. It loses a little bit of time, obviously, because it's not the first fastest method of getting out of bounds. But he backed it up so fast, he's not losing a lot of time to that preferred route.
That was optimal backup.
That was actually beautiful.
Running up this ramp here to gain access to another fast move. But let's focus on Sui here. He's going to try to get this nut clip, hopefully, because he's probably going to save around 12 seconds if he was to get it here. And this looks
really good.
better. That looks better for sure. And he gets it.
Yeah, so he gets the nut clip. Oh, this camera is fighting with him.
Ooh, such a fast movement, though.
That was clean, yeah. I mean, getting that nut clip as opposed to having to go for the backup on the rock is definitely a time save. So SuisaigaW is definitely saving some time over Stravos there. Really fast ramp climb.
Flying through the stage, actually.
Goodness.
That's impressive to see.
There's so much happening, oh my gosh. But yeah, so Stravos not getting poison hacked. You can actually buffer a jump to 1 frame jump off the poison and not take damage, but he didn't buffer his jump correctly there, and so he was on that poison for longer than the duration of 1 frame, took the damage, slowed him down to a full stop, and moons heal you in this game, which is nice, but there's this healing animation which takes time, which is slow and not so nice. So on top of taking damage and not being able to do anything, another, you know, it hits him twice actually for time.
Wow. SuisaigaW doing a very fast strat there, bridging that gap, and he's actually going to get the poison jump. So he's in fact not hacking, as Okra mentioned earlier. He buffered a jump to basically avoid taking damages. So he's saving time all over the place. He is actually creeping behind Stravos, who's going to do the flower road skip. Very fancy looking jump. A spin-bound roll cancel into fast momentum into a triple jump. He's actually flying through the stage. The roll cancel jump up the tower into the nudge break. He's actually flying for Wooded Kingdom right now.
He's insane. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was one of the, just goes to show the kinds of things you can do in this game with bouncing off your cap in midair, preserving momentum through triple jumps, all kinds of crazy stuff. That precise triple jump off the ledge is just so clean from both of our runners. That's beautiful. Oh my goodness. And Stravos here.
Creeping.
Yep, so there's the second screen capture from Stravos, the nut planted in the tower. So he's got 2 out of 3 screen captures. We'll come to the third one in the Snow Kingdom.
Dude, Suisaiga is creeping. He was actually behind by a fair amount, but he's currently creeping and creeping and creeping just behind Stravos, saving a little bit of time everywhere. And yeah, Stravos is actually going to be skipping the boss fight. Usually if you play this game casually, you might have fought Speward, the poison spewing boss up there, but we figured out a strat and some movement to basically skip him efficiently, because he has a lot of cutscenes attached to him.
I think actually Suisaiga forgot to take the screen capture for the nut planted in the tower. There is a backup moon though, nothing to fear. He's also going to be going for the skewerless route, getting the nut around the corner, and then flooded pipeway, which is where Stravos is now. This is very cycle-based. From the moment you enter, everything's on a timer. You just have to make sure that you match the raising and lowering water level and avoid these fuzzies in the pipeway. This was in an older route, so most runners are pretty familiar with it, as evidenced by the perfect pipeway there from Stravos. Very, very clean.
This section is incredibly hard to learn. These fuzzies will actually lag the game quite a bit, and the inputs you have to do are so tight, you cannot make a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, Stravos honestly having a really good wooded for a race, backing up, missing the nut clip with the rock clip first try, which is insane. Only that little hiccup really on the flower road, getting hit by the poison was the big mistake that he made, aside from missing that clip. But so it does allow Suisaiga to gain some ground, and just, you know, tiny little things like that are going to add up for sure. There is now less of a gap between them than when they entered wooded, so perhaps a chance for the lead to shift as we come into some of the more tricky kingdoms. I mean, I personally don't know if anything is trickier than wooded, but it adds up. Everything, you know, starts to build and build and build, and the time really adds up.
What is really nice to see that both of these runners actually got out of wooded. You can fail miserably in that kingdom, falling into a very weird place called the Deep Woods, where you lose a lot of time. Stravos is heading into Cloud Kingdom right now, which is basically just an arena fight with Bowser. And the strat we do to fight Bowser is we are basically jumping into his heads early, intentionally, throwing Cappy to gain access to the head as fast as we can. What we're going to do after is basically manipulating Bowser in a way that he jumps less space, which also obviously is faster in that case. And even here, we found a strat that allows us to gain access to these heads faster.
Yeah, this is kind of one of those fast strats that have been known for quite some time. You can get the hat basically as soon as it spawns next to Bowser. But reducing the distance that he jumps is a newer, tinier optimization that's fairly easy, so a lot of our runners go for it these days. Again, this being, I think, actually the shortest kingdom in the entire game. This is kind of... Most runners are on autopilot at this point, to be honest with you. So
it is not really deserving, to be honest, to be called a kingdom. It's literally just an arena. But you can revisit it in your casual playthrough after you're done with beating the game. But Stravos, though, is coming up at an actual kingdom, and arguably one of the hardest and most punishing ones in any percent once again. It's maybe not as hard as wooded, but it has this insta-killing poison all around. And the route that we do here is actually very tricky. So if you play this game casually, there's a bird that you might have seen before in any other Mario game, especially SM64, called Klepto. And he is actually going to steal your head if you go the intended way. But the route we choose basically skips Klepto entirely. We avoid his trigger entirely and then trigger him intentionally to skip all of these cutscenes.
Yeah, and we talked about lengths of kingdoms before. Lost is without a doubt the smallest kingdom that has lots of moons in it. So everything is super back to back to back to back to back, getting required number of moons to move on to the next kingdom. So all while you're trying to dodge the poison and not have your hat stolen, it's really tight trying to maneuver in here, get all these moons. So just kind of crazy stuff coming out. Oh my goodness. So Stravos there activated Klepto, so he's not going to steal the hat anymore, getting a spin pound onto that pillar. I can't commentate all this. There's too much going on. It's too fast.
It's just too fast. Stravos is showing here why this kingdom is so fast-paced. SuisaigaW also not really making mistakes, and he's still creeping. You can basically, if you imagine this kingdom as like a plane, you can see how SuisaigaW is just barely behind Stravos right now. He actually bonked there, and that was super lucky. If he for some reason had thrown his cap there, the bird would have actually still stolen it. Stravos doing this very precise, hard triple jump there.
Yeah, sometimes even if you get the triple jump, the bomb won't break open the cage to reveal the moon, so you're just kind of stuck there like, well, I'm here, I can't get the moon. So, kind of fortunate not to have that happen. Just one of the cases of anything can happen in this run, goes to show. But yeah, the only thing bad I saw was SuisaigaW getting a bonk here. So he gets the triple, gets the cage break. Very nice, really clean.
No problem. And by the way, these runners can actually choose to die here without losing much time at all, but it's still faster to escape the bridge. You can actually still escape from the bridge. But Sui having some issues there to actually throw Cappy against Love. He's visibly angry about that, losing those unnecessary fractions of seconds. But Stravos already heading into the Metro Kingdom, which is actually segmented into two parts. There's the Night Metro part and the Day Metro part. Stravos entering Night Metro.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things I want to touch on is you can throw Cappy and then shake the controller to home him onto things. You can home him onto the globe on the Odyssey, onto the spark pylon that Stravos just captured, onto other enemies. You can home him to get purple coins if you're running a category that cares about purple coins. But sometimes Cappy just goes in a direction, which is not the one you want, and so you're like, man, Cappy, you suck at this game. And so that's kind of what SuisaigaW was experiencing there. Trying to exit the kingdom, Cappy's like, I'm just gonna go and do my own thing. All right, really nice movement here from Stravos. Missed the Goomba. Goomba was not where he wanted on that ledge, unfortunately.
Yeah, all Night Metro really is basically very fast-paced and pretty close movement to make it over these roofs. And then the gist of the entire thing is basically a boss fight versus Mecha Wiggler. And this is pretty much the only big instance of RNG randomness in this entire run, because he does move in a random pattern, and we're going to see how this plays out, because you can actually basically skip an intended cycle. So I was struggling there.
Oh,
he actually falls down.
Fell.
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he saved himself.
He
with
saved
that
it by diving onto the pole, but if he hadn't dove, he would have just ground pounded straight down to his death. Had to do the entire room over again, so does save himself just a little bit, but definitely some time for SuisaigaW to catch up there. That's actually really big in a race.
Wow, if you watch
at this level.
If you watch Sui's screen, you can just see how he basically keeps creeping and creeping. He doesn't really make mistakes, and that's how Sui plays. He might make some mistakes at the very start, but he's probably going to catch himself again and start being consistent. So Stravos, very, very fast shots for this first phase on Wiggler. And what these runners will be aiming for is called a 2-cycle, where we basically destroy this boss fight in 2 cycles of the Mecha Wiggler being visible on the walls. He's going to rush around a bit, but then it's where we want to destroy him.
Yeah, and so you're talking about randomness in this fight. The second time, so you see SuisaigaW hitting him for the first time, he's vulnerable. The second time the Wiggler is vulnerable, it's completely random where on the wall he will spawn, what pattern he will walk in which direction he will shoot the fireballs, if he'll cross over himself. It's just a whole mess of, you don't know what's going to happen, so you have to do your best to be a sniper and hit all these segments to kill him immediately. And Stravos actually getting a really good pattern. He's just hit these 2 segments. Oh my!
Oh, wow, what was that shot? What?
One shot!
He's actually sniping!
Oh my god!
Wait, how did that even work? He literally sniped it with one
shot. Oh my god. I'm not worthy. I don't understand.
That was actually
that was really clean. Pretty good pattern for SuisaigaW as well, but the fireballs were just blocking him a little bit. Has to delay his shots just a little bit, so Wiggler is going to stop.
Speed that up.
Okay, all right, he's got it. He's got it. It's fine. Why were you worried? Come on.
If you miss that, guys, you actually lose 30 seconds immediately. Yeah. There's no backup. There's no recovery. If you miss that 2-cycle, you will lose 30 seconds without any recovery.
Yeah, there's just nothing you can do about it. If sometimes the Wheeler will cross over itself, and one of the segments is under the other one, so you can't actually hit it. It's just unhittable, and so you just lose time, which really sucks. But they're through it. They're past it. They're into the day metro, which is where you get a lot more tight movement, you know, kind of around and weaving through the kingdom. The very first trick here that Stravos is coming up on. Ooh, you missed the capture warp. Missed the capture warp actually, so I can't talk about it yet. But
there's actually no time because he's coming up at another
scooter clip.
Trick right here called scooter clip. He's actually gonna use the hidden motion controls from the scooter to lean into this cage.
Suisaiga gonna go for the capture warp, trying to get this moon and then instantly teleport to the spark pylon. See if he can do what Stravos didn't. And he gets it, saving that little bit of travel time. He's going to use the motion controls to tilt the scooter far enough to clip into the side of this cage, collect the moon. Also gets it just driving by. What a swag.
Very
swag
fast.
strat.
Wow, this game is packed. Trying to show off everything that happens here is actually so much. And that's actually such a smart decision from Stravos. Usually you would capture this little pylon there, but the taxi was just in a bad spot for him, so he decided to just roll. It's so smart, actually. Really like that choice from him.
Big brain. Oh my goodness. Oh, I need to catch my breath. But there's no time. There's no time.
The taxi's revenge, actually, right there. He couldn't outsmart the taxi entirely. It still had the revenge.
No, yeah, so Stravos talking to the musician here, getting the story moons. You need to get 20 moons to leave the Metro Kingdom. It just so happens that one of the fastest moons that we can get, RTA, that's RTA viable, you know, real-time attack. Not a human is doing sitting down in a real session. It's not a robot or anything. The fastest moons for a human right now include these musicians, which is, you know, they have these long cutscenes associated with them, so they're not as fast as you want them to be, but they're the fastest, and so like we have to put up with it. It's fine.
Sad. It's sad. Sitting through cutscenes as a speedrunner hurts a little bit, but on the other side, it's kind of nice to have this little downtime. And once again, look at this. So Suisaiga is bonking against the pylon. And what I was actually gonna say is he's actually quite behind, like almost catching
Commentators
up
curse
right now. No, he's doing very well. He's getting these little wins, and he's coming closer and closer.
Oh my goodness. So Stravos getting the momentum around the corner there to head to this moon, which I love. How do they take out the trash? I don't know.
I mean, Mario knows.
Dives immediately to swing in the breeze. Very nice. Suisaiga is now going to teleport, try to keep his own momentum around the corner that Stravos is just flying by. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this kingdom is specifically very fast-paced in terms of movement you do. Every time you save in this kingdom is mainly due to movement optimization. And Stravos actually missing his intended very fast strat. They're gliding over to the pool moon. Both of them getting basically 2 moons apart. So Suisaiga has really been creeping behind him. If Stravos makes one major mistake, and we are going to get to some major mistakes very soon here, potentially.
Gets the bullseye, immediately snipes where that ground pound moon location was. So no time delayed for Stravos there. Suisaiga is not going to go for the spin pound, which Stravos did go for, which is interesting.
So Okra, one thing that I have to mention here is coins. If we look at Stravos' coin count right now, he's actually at 78 coins. And the intended way to play this game in a speedrun is to go to Snow Kingdom as the next destination. But to go to Snow Kingdom and do the speedrunning route, you need 100 coins. So Stravos might actually choose to pick Seaside Kingdom instead, which is just barely slower, but it's going to throw things around here a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. Suisaiga already sitting on 101 coins. He has plenty to buy the 100 coin moon that he needs in Snow Kingdom. So he can just head to Snow immediately. Stravos can go to Snow if he so chooses, but he's going to be either hunting for coins or having to replace that shop moon with a different one. So
he needs to be aware. That's the important thing. Because intentionally you want to buy a moon, but if he enters the shop unknowing of the fact that he actually doesn't have enough coins, he's going to take a big hit.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll see here. He has the option to go to either one. He is choosing Seaside first. He's aware that he's short on coins, going to lose, you know, whatever that fraction of a second is to scroll down and then select the kingdom instead of just mashing A. So that time loss comes into there, like half a second or something, but it does save him from going in and realizing, oh wait, I can't buy this moon, I don't have enough coins. Darn, and having to reroute on the fly basically. So good call on Stravos' part, realizing that he didn't have enough coins.
So as far as time loss goes, that's not really a problem at all, as he misses his intended faster twice there actually.
This, however, yeah.
It's just gonna change things a little bit here.
Oh,
Oh
and he
no!
misses the bounce on the cap, so he has to try again. Just having a little bit of troubles climbing this cliff for Stravos here. That time really is important at how close these two runners are to each other. It's a little bit harder to tell now that they're in different kingdoms. Suisaiga's going to do snow and then seaside. Stravos is doing seaside and then snow. But you know that will, once things shake out and they've both done both kingdoms, then we'll see how where they fall with each other, where the lead is exactly.
I can tell that Stravos is pretty nervous right now. He's making uncommon mistakes, bonking in some places. Also, these mistakes, you'd usually not see him do them. And once again, the kingdom that Suisaiga is in right now, Stravos will still have to do that, and the other way around as well. So Suisaiga has still to visit this island seaside place. But he's going to be good for now, buying this moon later on in snow. But Stravos is potentially coming up at the very cool-looking strat called Flower Rocket Reset. What we do right here is going to look very strange at the start. Stravos ground pounding into the water here. And he's going to try to spin throw, which is a motion control input, into a ground pound before this moon to refresh the duration of the rocket flower. And he gets it right there. So now he's going to be able to run across the water instead of using a capture that is intended there.
And just as a side note, Suisaiga did get the screenshot capture on the moon from the treasure chest in Shiveria, so good on him.
Definitely live.
He does have one backup screenshot to take in Seaside when he gets there, so we'll touch on that one. But both of these runners just kind of flying through their kingdoms at this point.
Sui getting the triple jump there with the momentum of the block.
Yeah, making that cycle with the correct movement to maintain your momentum and get up to that archway can be a little bit tricky, but he makes it look so easy. It's, it's really, really a sight to see Stravos just swimming around as a cheap for now. I think he's going to take a fish bonk here, actually.
Avoids it.
Wow, okay, that was really close, actually.
Okay, so now we actually got to stop for a bit and think about this. So Sui was barely behind Stravos, actually leaving Metro Kingdom, and Stravos has been making some pretty uncommon and actually costly mistakes here in Seaside. And Suisaiga is about to do one more sub-room, and then he's gonna come up at the legendary Snow Dram. Has nothing to do actually with the runner Dram we've been talking about earlier, but it's arguably the hardest jump in the game. It might take people days or hours to actually get it one single time, but we are speedrunners, we are crazy, and we do it every run to save around 10 seconds. But this trick is so hard and so precise, you need to practice it a lot. And if you miss it, you do not only lose 20 seconds, but you are bound to repeat and repeat until you get it. There's no backup moon.
Yeah, it's for sure the most costly thing to miss that you're going for in the entire run, pretty much. The one single thing that will separate you from a world record or not, basically. Which both of these runners are currently not on world record pace, but they are world record contenders, so it's on their minds. They're thinking about it all the time. So Suisaiga here going to be going into the shop. He has 111 coins. He has plenty. He's going to buy this moon, and then he's going to go for the Snow Dram trick, the painting jump. Some people like to call it because there's nothing to do with Dram really, but
yeah,
it's just
a place.
The name.
It's a place the game doesn't want you to get this way. It's a place you usually are supposed to visit once you beat the game. And this jump is so precise that we're actually using the first-person mode as a visual cue setup to make it work at all. And Suisaiga is going to attempt it here. He really can't fail this if he wants to get back and get first place here. And he nails it. Nice execution. This is so hard if you learn this category.
That wasn't even close. He cleared it, man.
Yeah, that looked easy.
Yeah, normally when you do that jump, if you do it right, most of the time you'll just barely make the edge of that ledge and you'll just barely get over it. But Suisaiga with clearance makes it look like he has plenty of room for it. What a legend.
So Sui leaving this kingdom now, and I want to take the chance real quick to thank you guys so much for the support you've been showing here in chat with gifted subscriptions. Make sure to also check out our giveaway. Make sure to follow these new GSA channels. Stravos actually making, once again, some uncommon mistakes right there. But thank you guys so much for supporting this. This is all going to get back into growth of the scene. If you want to see more SM64 content, there's going to be an insane final today. If you want to see more Super Mario Odyssey content, this is a best of 3, and we just launching a new channel full with new content. Announcements coming later today.
Super exciting. And Suisaiga here now entering into the Seaside Kingdom. You're probably not going to see him go for the Rocket Flower refresh like Stravos did. But, you know, if he does anything like he's been doing the entire run, he's just going to be the picture of consistency. Oh my goodness.
He is playing clean.
Oh my gosh. That was actually, I had to like have one eye on each runner there because both of them were having so clean movement. That was actually really pretty to see.
So a thing that I want to point out, and you might have actually seen it earlier, Stravos is actually supposed to be the best runner in Seaside, but he was not able to basically show it this run. There's still another chance to show it. But Snow is another place where he's usually very confident and he usually does very fast strats. But right now, Suisaiga definitely having the edge in terms of consistency, and we will be able to tell how the pace actually is, as both of them are going to be hitting the globe in these respective kingdoms.
Yeah, the timing for end Seaside for Suisaiga, if it's an equal run with Stravos, end Seaside will line up with end Snow, and then they'll both go into the next kingdom together. So Suisaiga actually did go for Rocket Flower refresh. I was wrong, but he actually missed it, and the time expired on those notes, so he has to go back and reset this whole setup to try to get this moon again. Will he go for the Rocket Flower refresh again? Yes, he is. He's spin throwing, he's ground pounding. So he's got the first part down.
Okay, I can respect that, man. So that's actually such a costly mistake he made there, but he doesn't care. He does it again, and he gets it.
Okay, making up for the mistake there, saying, I know how to do this, I promise. I've got it. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Nerves of steel on this man. Holy.
Wow, this is going to be up to Stravos, actually. I think Stravos might still be able to keep hold of a tiny lead if he is able to get Snowdram first try. That's going to be the big one.
Yeah. The Suisaiga still has to get 5 moons here, it looks like. And Stravos is in the middle of purchasing his 1 moon. He has to teleport to the Odyssey, do the painting jump up to get that last moon, and then he's out of there. So Stravos might be in quite a lead right now, actually. If he can get this first try,
it's going to be all about this jump.
So he's lining up his camera to get the right angle.
That's actually oh no!
He doesn't get the vault. That's very important
as well.
So not getting the vault means you don't have the height, you don't have the mid-air cap jump. You have to reset that. So you can't just say, "Oh, it's fine."
He's getting nervous.
He's not getting the angle.
That might not work. That might not work. That might not work. That was too far. He still makes it work.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so. Yeah, so Stravos still will be exiting Snow just a little bit ahead of Suisaiga exiting Seaside here. Suisaiga still does have to teleport to the Odyssey. He does get his last screen capture.
That is not much at all, though. Like, if we think about it, that's probably around 15 seconds maximum. And the very hard and punishing segments of this runs are still in front of them.
I think that's 15 seconds exactly, actually.
Yeah, around that.
Wow, that is an insane time difference to have coming into the Luncheon Kingdom. At this point in the run, you know, it's not uncommon to see 20, 30, 45 second lead because just so much has happened at this point. But 15 seconds, it's still anybody's game, honestly.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I can definitely see that. And Suisaiga and Stravos both heading into Luncheon Kingdom. Arguably, if you compare Wooded and Luncheon, they both might take the win for the hardest kingdom in the game. They both are incredibly movement-packed, and Stravos actually with a weird angle starting with a pretty hard jump immediately. But the one thing that I want to point out about this kingdom, as he nails that, by the way, is the weird geometry. Like, these salt piles, these rocks are so weird sometimes to deal with. They'll push you off without any reason, it seems like.
Yeah, just because the terrain is in weird shape, Stravos taking a bonk there, Suisaiga gets the hard jump. Because everything's a weird shape, you kind of have to maneuver around it and just know exactly where Mario is going to go on every angle that you can possibly land on, pretty much. We're not seeing it yet because they're on these buildings made of wafers that are pretty nice and 90 degrees, but you can kind of see up ahead on Stravos' screen, there's a weirdly shaped mountain, there's some weirdly shaped veggies that have weird angles.
Suisaiga with some fancy strats. Yeah. Both of them actually fighting Spewart, which is the name we've talked about this guy in Wooded.
Stravos not dying. Props.
Avoiding that death from the teaser earlier. But yeah, this fight is supposed to be pretty easy, but it's their first encounter with him. Usually I was supposed to fight him in Wooded Kingdom, but we skipped him. And actually it really doesn't change at all. It's just a refight in a different shaped arena.
Yeah, it's the same fight essentially. If you have the speedrun strat for the first fight, you have it for the second fight. No big deal. These runners have done it a million times. They're good to go. They're going to be heading down to a little sub area to get one little moon, and then coming back out of that sub area. Because again, what are the fastest moons you can get in the kingdom to progress on to the next one? It turns out that entering the sub area, getting this one moon that Stravos just got, and then leaving is just fast. Even though there's
seems wrong, right?
This time that you're loading into the zone and loading out of the zone, it's still
this.
really fast.
Look at this Sui pretty much entering the sub room as Stravos is leaving. Oh no!
And Stravos!
Can he actually save that?
Oh my god! He wanted to do a long jump there, but he actually pressed the wrong button and started just rolling instead off the side of the ledge there. So having to recover it, needing to get his height back. It's a tiny thing, you know, in the scope of the run, but it's a good thing he recovered that, because it could have been really disastrous falling all that way.
SuisaigaW is doing SuisaigaW things. He has been playing consistently after his mistakes in the early game, and now he's just creeping behind. He bridges that gap so silently. If Stravos makes one major mistake, he's gonna lose his lead.
Getting the optimal bonk into the pot to pre-position for the mirror. You don't have to do that, but it's pretty swaggy. SuisaigaW going for it as well.
it kind of feels right, because you hate bonking when you play this game, and this is the one time where it's actually worth.
Oh, and a very nice roll canceller from Stravos to preserve speed and do this without needing to manipulate the camera to spawn this lava bubble just in the right spot at the right time. Wow, it's the tiny things that Stravos does that really make his play shine.
If there's any chance to talk about fast movement, it's this room where Stravos just bonked against. but usually this room not only abuses Mario's movement, but especially motion controls, using these up throws to gain access to these forks very fast, and you fly through this room in the speedrun.
We talked about it earlier, shaking the controller for fast rolling, motion control rolling, but motion controls in general are just faster in this game for many things. You can up throw, you can shake to home cappy in onto enemies, we talked about before, so all kinds of different things runners are shaking their controllers for. It's super unintuitive, but it is fast.
It is definitely fast. And Stravos doing some kind of tricky jumps actually there to make it up these slopes, as he is coming up at another clip where we actually clip basically out of bounds. It's just a tiny wall we pass using this turnip here. Stravos very fast setup, using the spin pound to keep momentum on the turnip. Going for the Kobe throw, and I think this might have worked. If he actually gets first try, that's actually insane.
Oh my god, it's in the right spot. He is in the wall.
God,
first try.
Insane. First try with the Kobe throw. Sweet though, that throw looks good as well.
Oh my goodness.
Is he doing
the right spot? He's in. He's in. Oh my god.
The double Kobe.
Oh my god. I can't handle this right now. They're so fast.
Yeah, this luncheon, like some tiny mistakes on Stravos and some bonks, but other than that, showing off why these guys are the very best at this game. And the strat that Stravos is going to be doing here is also so cool. We throw Cappy out in advance, and then he's once again going to be using a spin pound to vault on Cappy here into a triple jump, climb these very weird shaped rocks into another spin pound. Actually not, usually you do a spin pound there, but you basically obtain this ground pound moon and then you keep flying through the stage.
And SuisaigaW is literally on his tail right now, just doing the exact same thing right as you finish saving it. He does the spin pound, yeah. I mean, they're so close to each other right now. Oh my goodness. Stravos getting the meat capture. SuisaigaW is literally below him right now, just below. If they were playing on the same map, they would be, 10 meters behind each other. This is ridiculous right now.
Okay, so and this multi-moon, you might have seen it before. Usually these multi-moons, these triple moons are bound to like a boss fight or a hard challenge. In this case, all you need to do is capture the meat. I guess Nintendo thought it's like challenge enough to capture this meat. You have to climb all the way, but these guys obviously laugh at it and like triple jump, spin pound up the entire way.
Yeah. So you are actually meant to fight that bird that you saw in the cutscene. But we have enough moons, so we can just leave. We don't care about that boss fight. We'll come back to another day. We are going to go now to the next kingdom, like the Cloud Kingdom, where it was literally just a boss fight versus Bowser. This is the Ruin Kingdom. It's another boss fight versus a special guest. It's a super awesome electric dragon. But
I'm his biggest fan.
But because the fight is completely on a timer, pretty much, we can't speed it up. It's just, it lasts the duration it lasts, and that's all there is to it. So it was a lot of waiting in the boss fight, and This is when you would read donations off at GDQ, right? This is like nothing is happening here, pretty much, unfortunately.
Ruined kingdom. What can I say? What can I say? Well, on the other hand, though, this kingdom, even though this fight looks epic, it's a giant dragon, as you said. It's electrical. It fires sparks. It's scary, but it's actually really easy to fight, and it's kind of an auto-scroller, so that gives us the chance to once again let you guys know that GSA Global Speedrun Association is launching 2 all-exclusive new channels, Speedrun SMO and Speedrun SM64, releasing tons of Super Mario Odyssey and Super Mario 64 speedrun content. It's gonna be huge. We're having a lot of insane stuff. After this race, you guys are gonna see one of the huge announcements coming up from the Super Mario Odyssey community. And you guys also have the chance to win some Beast Coast merch. We are gonna be giving away that. Just type in !giveaway to read all about it. And if you follow both of the channels, you will be entered into winning the goodies.
Lots of hype, lots of new cool content, new stuff coming out. I'm super excited, man. Meanwhile, there's a boss fight. They're fighting a boss. Yeah, I mean, there is a damage boost strat. They can get on top of the dragon's head early to pre-position, which does involve them taking damage, so they're exposing these hearts all around to heal themselves back up. But that's essentially the only thing that's actually going on here. They're just otherwise taking damage, pretty much.
So the one thing that is just weird about this kingdom is the boss itself. Like how did he make it into this Mario game? I guess this game kind of makes some things different than Mario games usually did. But we gotta deal with him. One day maybe we'll find the legendary Ruin Skip, which would pretty much be the equivalent of Barrier Skip, if you guys know anything about Wind Waker speedrunning, which is a huge glitch that was theorized for literally ages. So if someone actually boots up their Switch right now and shows us a way to skip this dragon, we will love you forever. So make sure to let us know.
It would effectively solidify the status of pretty much anyone in the top 50 to be able to get a sub-hour time, which is the holy grail that everyone is searching after is the sub-hour any % time for Mario Odyssey, which is theoretically possible. But no human is currently capable of achieving it, unfortunately, because it is insanely. You have to play completely optimal and make no mistakes, and just no one can do it right now, pretty much.
Yeah, so we've basically proven that theoretically a human can obtain this time, but it would be basically still inhuman to have that performance currently. And currently the world record is 1 hour, 1 minute, and 21 seconds by Little Curbs. And yeah, usually the top runners will get a time around 1 hour and 1 minute and a few seconds. But we are getting there. We are improving this game at rapid pace, even still.
Yeah. It is not impossible that sub-hour could be achievable by a human, but we're not there yet. We're getting there. We're working on it. So now we're finally coming into Bowser's Kingdom, which is the last proper kingdom in the run where we're collecting moons and trying to do a bunch of challenges to get to the end. This one is a gauntlet. You have to move from this island to island. You see Stravos here teleporting on the electric wire to get to the next island. So it's a lot of platforming challenges to get to the next island and so on and so forth. But there's also boss fights that you have to do throughout to earn story moons. Excuse me. The kingdom gives you a set number of story moons, but it is actually not enough to leave. So even after you do the story, you need 2 additional non-story moons to progress.
Yeah, Bowser's Kingdom, fairly linear, as you just mentioned. We are forced to get these story moons bound to some pretty long cutscenes. Suis actually bonking there, so he needs to be quick to hit this ogre, is what the game calls it in the first cycle. But as you said, we do need 2 additional moons, and we get the choice which ones we want. We obviously pick the fastest ones. There's some controversy, like some people can discuss, I like this moon more because it's barely slower or barely faster. But I'm pretty sure these guys will pick the same moons. And Sui still very, very close behind. Charts coming up right now, which is arguably the most movement-intensive part of Bowser's. Very clean movement if done well. Let's see how Stravos does here. So going for the triple jump, not for the dive back strat, which is actually super fast. So he's probably going to do it. Very intense strat.
Yeah, he was not quite in the correct position there. You can actually throw your hat to get that moon shard and turn around in midair and dive back onto the platform.
No.
Suisaiga's taking a bonk, though. So actually slower than not going for it like Stravos did.
Showing off.
and he's taking damage as well. So when he does get the moon, he's going to heal, which is another time loss for Suisaiga. Super unfortunate that that happened to him.
Yeah. Sui trying to be optimal, trying to be fast, and this is so often how this game goes. You try to do this optimal strat, and you can save like half a second doing it. But if you miss it, you lose like 4, 5, 10. You can even die. And Stravos is going to pick one non-story moon up right now. Let's see what strat he decides to do. He's not opting for another capture warp strat. He's just climbing this place, which is safer, but a little slower. Not sure what Sui is going to do.
Yeah, like the capture warp at the beginning of Metro we saw Suisaiga do. You can capture warp to the spark pylon that Stravos just took to get to this island. It is faster and riskier.
Sui's gonna do it.
Sui's going for it. So he's getting his cap in position. He's going to click the moon.
Oh, this looks... No!
Oh, he teleported too soon, actually. You wanted to collect the moon and then warp to the spark pylon, but he warped before getting the moon. So he's now got the moon, so you can get it this time. He's got the warp.
Okay, so this is a tough call. Sui going for all of these little optimizations, but currently he's mainly missing them, and that's actually ending up slower. Like, he's losing time compared to Stravos here.
He's pulling a Stravos.
Basically, exactly. It's very important to mention, though, even though this kingdom is linear, the end of this kingdom is literally the hardest boss in the game, one of the most intense parts in the entire speedrun. It's going to be so fast-paced, it's going to be hard to even commentate what's happening there, but that can literally still change everything, and even after, there's still an entire Moon Kingdom to play it through.
Yeah,
but currently, Stravos building a little bit more of a lead.
It doesn't, I mean, this is the last, again, proper kingdom in the run. There is another, another kingdom, another segment that comes after this, but this is where all the pressure is. This is the high stakes kingdom where this is where chokes happen. We saw a choke earlier today, not to call him out, but someone was on world record pace and Bowser's Kingdom happened because this is where everything gets really real. This is where things can really go really right or really wrong.
And it's kind of downplayed, right? Like, even though you get these cutscenes to kind of calm down a little bit, I think that might even be worse for your nerves. Usually when you are in the zone, you just play and play and play. But here the game kind of plays with you. It throws you under the bus, it gets super intense, and then you need to relax for a little bit again, and then you fight Meg, the hardest boss in the game, and then you relax for a little bit again, and it's just keeping on going.
It's really easy to get up into your head as well, like this cutscene that Stravos is in, Suisaiga's about to be in, because these are all story moons, right? There's a story cutscene and it faces you. You must wait before going to do the rest of whatever the next segment is. And so you have to sit and think about what's coming, and it's so stressful. And Stravos, with the monk-ass jump, but he's
grabbing to that ledge.
He gets the ledge grab onto the crates after he breaks them. Oh my goodness. Whew. That was really spooky.
Moon is even scarier because right now Stravos is going to be doing this camera blind jump. He bridges that gap, no problem. Now he's actually only one climb section away from the mech fight. He's going to be using this called Pokey or Bird to climb up to the mech.
Yeah, and Suisaiga here coming up on it again. The camera is locked after you exit this pipe, so you have to jump towards the camera in order to cross this gap. So it's super awkward, but these runners are experienced. They know the right position. It's easy for them, right? Nonetheless, still impressive. Just knowing exactly where to go and not having bad things happen to them. But here is that mech boss fight for Stravos, climbing up onto the top of it. The goal is to get on top, ground pound all these glass cockpits containing all of the bunnies that you're supposed to fight throughout the game up to this point, and not fall off. You're supposed to stay on top and ground pound all these cockpits.
So this is not even close to the casual strat you usually see on us. Sui's gonna be trying his climb on his own, but Stravos is gonna be doing the Harriet third strat. Harriet, the bubble on top, he's gonna ground pound that one first, and then he's gonna try to snipe the Speward cockpit at the very last. So he's gonna spin pound that one, and then he's gonna get into position. This is so important. He has to make this work. Sets up.
Have to be instant, and he gets the instant spin pound to destroy the mech.
Wow.
That was fast. That was pretty fast.
Okay, it's up to Sui now. He still needs to do this strat to have a chance to make this work. There's still Moon Kingdom coming up, which is a place where you can lose time all around the board. So he gets the ground pound on Harriet. Acquiring his target here.
He's got it. Instant dives. Instant spin pound. Wow. Well,
nice.
Did we just see two perfect mech fights?
The double.
Back to back.
These guys are doing it all. The double.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah, so I mean that's Bowser's Kingdom. They survived pretty much. They just have to throw their caps onto the globe on the Odyssey and sit through a bunch of cutscenes. And again, these cutscenes, they now have time to think about what's coming. The Moon Kingdom is not as intensive as Bowser's Kingdom. You're on the moon, so you have moon gravity. You're a lot floatier, so kind of a bit of a weird movement system there. But basically, it's make one jump and then do some boss fights, and then the escape section. That's all that these guys have in front of them to finish the run.
But let me tell you a story about the guy called Stravos96. This guy actually currently, just a few weeks ago, like even a week ago, was on world record pace, easily able to get the world record in this game. But he lost 18 seconds in Moon Kingdom. And that's less than Suisaiga, probably around the time that Sui is currently behind him. Maybe Sui is like 20 seconds behind him, but you can lose that time in Moon. That's not a question.
Yeah. Because of the weird moon gravity, the weird movement system, trying to get there's a certain pattern of movement. You can vector through the air to go at an angle, gain more velocity, gain more distance. So if you can vector correctly, you just gain a ton of time over not vectoring at all. But because the moon is so weird, trying to get the right directions on your vectors can be a little challenging. It's little things like this that are, they really do add up over the course of the Moon Kingdom. And of course, we're going to come up on the very first skip that was ever known in speedrunning for this game. This was a day one trick that was discovered to skip shave minutes off of the any percent run. This is the largest time saver in the any percent run, and probably one of the easiest. So
this is one of the very, very few sequence breaks in this game. The ones that actually are around, we don't even use them many percent. They are too slow for us. But Stravos is gonna come up there right now. So
he just passed a cave on his left side. You're supposed to go into the cave and do a bunch of stuff, but because of moon gravity, we can just do some fancy cat bouncing and wall jumping here and just land on the other side of this cave. So there we go. We've skipped the entire moon cave, which takes several minutes.
And even though that's so huge, that thread is actually compared to the other stuff runners do fairly easy. And it's definitely, for these runners, the easiest part of this kingdom. The even harder part, and the part where it's hard to actually recover from, is this Bowser fight. And even though this is, quote-unquote, just a refight from the Cloud Kingdom, it is still incredibly punishing. If you miss one of the fast head cycles, you will lose up to 12 seconds.
Yeah. And
getting that first phase.
Talking about, again, the game making you wait towards the end of the run and think about everything that's coming. Unlike the Cloud Kingdom fight, after you punch him in Cloud, he goes to the next platform and starts the next phase where you can capture the hat. Here, he spits fire, and you just have to play jump rope. You have to sit and wait and anticipate what's coming when your nerves are, you're all up in a bundle because it's the end of the run, and oh my goodness, and it's
so this one will be
stressful.
Big. Stravos missing it.
No, I just
what? Oh my god, that's exactly what I was about to tell you guys. This phase is the hardest one. This is Sui's chance. Oh my god,
he gets hit by the hat.
Sui's chance to win this.
Oh my god.
So Stravos cannot set up for the fast hit now. He has to do this the slow way, which means that if Suisaiga can get this hat,
he's still ahead.
Stravos will still be ahead, but Suisaiga has got the hat. He is now just one punching cycle behind Stravos.
He is so close. We are literally speaking about 5 seconds, if even. And that fight is not the end of the game. After this fight, there's still a very, very intense escape section coming up, where literally the last room in this race might literally decide this one. But there's still another Bowser phase coming up. This third phase. One of these runners can still miss that. Stravos setting up right here, trying to get the backflip. Only at 1 HP, by the way.
Oh my god. If he gets hit, it's over. Like, he loses the fight. He loses the race at this point. They are 7 seconds apart as of right now. Stravos getting the punches, not taking damage, and finishing the fight.
And he finishes Bowser. So Sui is just this one Bowser phase behind him. Only one jump, and he's gonna be tied basically with Stravos. So Stravos maybe 5 seconds ahead, and this is all gonna be about escape. I can't believe it. This is probably as close as it gets. Stravos, if he makes one mistake in the final room, and we're gonna get into this final room, it's gonna be insanely intense. But right now, we are going to be focused on escape. Okra, tell me about 2D skip.
Okay, so there is one final or second to last trick you can do in the run. In the 8-bit section, you can become 2D and run on the wall. There's a very precise platforming trick that saves about 2 seconds if you do it correctly and you land your jumps in the right spot. If you fail, you will fall to your death and you will start the entire escape over again, effectively
World
losing about
records have been lost.
45-second time loss if you fail. So here's Stravos getting the first jump, second jump, third jump.
Easy.
He has done 2D skip. That is the most dangerous pitfall out of the way. Suisaiga coming up on it, gets the first jump, second jump, third jump. He's also done with it. All right, now it comes down to pillars. It comes down to fast pillar.
Oh no, this is actually big.
He oh my goodness. He didn't make the last jump after 2D skip, actually, so he lost a little bit of time there. But fast pillars could still play a part in how this plays out.
This pillar room is gonna decide this. So what Stravos wants to do right here, he wants to snipe the pillar to the right with 5 shots. If he misses that, that's his chance to win. So this first shot actually looks pretty good. I think he might actually have gotten it. I'm not sure if that last shot hit. That might have cost him.
He got the fast pillar. He got it. He got it.
God. Okay, I think he might have it. I'm not sure.
I think he has it. Yeah, he saw the screen shake. Pillar fell. Suisaiga having to do some extra shots, actually. That sets him back even further. I think it is going to be Stravos closing out the first race in the lead.
Goodness,
He's got one pillar left. Suisaiga still has 2 pillars to take care of. Stravos heading into the middle. He's going to be closing down. He just has to break this rock, and he is home free.
Dude.
Suisaiga hitting his last shots. And it is going to be Stravos closing out the very first race, our victor, with a final time of 1:02.29. He gets the sub 30.
Wow. Literally not even 10 seconds apart. Suisaiga is going to be ending this run with a 1:02.38. 9
seconds apart.
Incredible first race. I can't believe it.
I don't know what to say right now, Lim. That was an insane first race. And remember, this is a best of 3.
My goodness.
So we're gonna have another race. If Stravos wins this next race, he will be the champion of this tournament. If Suisaiga wins, we will have a third race to decide who our victor is. So if any of the next race or 2 races is as close as this one, I think we're gonna see some pretty hype stuff ahead of us. Oh my goodness.
This is probably as close as an any percent race can literally get. Like 9 seconds, and Stravos really playing with his win right there. This Bowser, this could have been massive. He could have lost it right there at the very, very last fight. I still have to process what actually happened here, Okram.
I'm still catching my breath. That was absolutely insane. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I mean, again, to recap, these 2 guys are pretty fast. You know, Stravos currently holding the second fastest any percent time in the world, 1 hour, 1 minute, 24 seconds. Suisaiga holding the third fastest any percent time, 1 hour, 1 minute, 26 seconds, 2 seconds apart in their PBs, 9 seconds apart in the race. You know, just over a minute off of their PBs. This is. Folks, this is tremendous. I don't have another word for it. This is absolutely true.
Wow. And just because we don't have any other words for this insane any percent race, and there's obviously going to be content coming up, we do have a special announcement for you guys regarding the Speedrun SMO channel. Yeah, let's go, dude. Triple bingo time, Okram. What do you think about triple bingo?
I'm a fan of triple bingo, especially, you know, in Odyssey in particular, because there are so many different moons that you can get to move on to the next kingdom. There's so many different objectives you can get. There's so many different routing options. It's so open, and it feels like there's just an unlimited potential for the kinds of things you can come up with on the spot. It's really, really amazing to see and to participate in. So the fact that GSA is going to be bringing that to the Speedrun SNO channel is super exciting. I'm probably going to participate. I mean, I don't know about you. I'm excited.
I might hop into this one. So let me quickly get into bingo itself. We might have some new viewers hopping into this whole speedrunning world. And what you've just seen is Super Mario Odyssey any percent. What we do here, we try to beat this game as fast as we can. But this game is so much more. We literally only maybe touched like 5% of the game in this run. We beat the game, yeah, but we didn't see all of the content. And what bingo allows us to do, it doesn't really want us to like get every moon in the game, but it wants us to basically get creative, route on the fly, come up with a route, come up with strats. And what bingo is, it basically shows you a card with different objectives. You can choose a path that you want to take, basically choosing a bingo line or a cross, and get all of these objectives basically as fast as you can. Come up with a route, come up with strats, be creative. And bingo requires an entirely different skill set from the grinder, the any % runner. Definitely very cool stuff. Make sure to follow the Speedrun SMO channel to tune into these races and into these tournament announcements. Also, please make sure to join the Global Speedrun Association Discord server to be verified about any news about the signups for the tourney. So make sure to join the Discord.
It's gonna be hype. I'm super excited, man. It's always good to see, me. I am an other category runner at heart. I feel I did any % for a while, but seeing all the different kinds of things that you can do in the game and trying to be creative and come up with all kinds of different stuff like that, it's really delightful to see, and I think a lot of our viewers will appreciate that kind of stuff because it's different and it's super interesting.
I can't wait. Literally can't wait. And I'm gonna get into this one as well, as you just said. But let's recap here for a tiny bit, because we are not done with any %. We still need to decide the winner of the first big any % tournament on Global Speedrun Association. And basically, this race didn't really play out at all. It's like I would have imagined Strav either crushing it with like a 101 time and an amazing run, or losing by quite a big amount. But I didn't expect Stravos to play pretty consistently and well over the run, making some uncommon mistakes in like Seaside and Snow. And then actually Sui being the one going for the very fast strats and missing them. It's like, especially the one in Bowser's. If he hadn't missed, literally if he hadn't missed the strat, the capture warp strat in Bowser's and the dive back strat on the Moonshard section, he would have won.
Yeah, like that's plenty, like 10 seconds right there easily. That's the race. I mean, it's insane that the race was that close, and it comes down to two things like that, but and it even goes back in Wooded when Stravos missed the nut clip and had to back it up with the out of bounds movement from the rock. Like everything in that race, contributed to that tiny time difference we had right at the end, which is insane to think about actually, but that's what it comes down to. All these little things like that. We talked about, the Moonscape skip is a huge time saver, compared to playing casually. But it's really, once you get to this level of play, that really optimizing your movement and being consistent in the things you go for are really important to try to make sure that you are where you think you should be.
And by the way, we are setting obviously up for race 2 here as we speak. One thing that I want to kind of turn around on you, Okra, though, is remember Suisaiga actually had a lot of issues with first Moonskip. And I'm not expecting this to happen again. But if you think about it this way, like missing FMS first Moonskip, the short version, missing it literally 5 times and making these mistakes in Bowser's, imagine he hadn't made them, this could have been close to like a world record time. I'm not even kidding. Like if you think about it that way.
Yeah, I mean, so we're talking about like these little tiny time losses he had in the Bowser's Kingdom, but that doesn't nearly compare to the time loss he faced in Cascade Kingdom, trying to do that one trick, which, if you're talking about it from, a purely just objective viewpoint, it's a version 1.0 exclusive trick. This is a modern game. Nintendo's patched it. All kinds of stuff has been removed, unfortunately. So these guys are playing on the unpatched original 1.0.0 version of the game. That version exclusive trick saves about 45 seconds over not doing it in the most current version 1.2. So if you're missing it enough to lose those 45 seconds, you might as well not do it, in all honesty. I say that as a little bit harsh, because that's what we expect from runners doing runs. But in a race, it's tough to be like, okay, well, is it worth going for? How do I feel on this race? Am I going to make it? I don't know. Like, what's the jury on that? But so these runners, they're trying to be competitive. They're trying to go for everything that they can possibly think of.
It is hard to run this game, dude. It's really hard to run this game. It's actually almost incredible at this point. But I think we have the chance to be here all together at Global Speedrun Association, the grand finals. Race 2 between Suisaiga and Stravos. Just starting up right here. Runners getting ready. We are about to be on our way.
Oh man, I'm excited again, all over again. I just, I'm used to, kind of leads growing in, from the start and then becoming bigger leads by the end, but I just can't get over how close that race was. I want to see more. Show me more Odyssey.
And I think it's about to happen, Okra.
Awesome.
And
I'm ready. My body is ready.
let's quickly run through the cards. So the one thing I'm just calling straight up here, I think Suisaiga will have an easier time on the first Moonskip this time, and this will change things entirely from the start. But obviously, we haven't seen, like both of these runners had a lot of quote-unquote luck going into Wooded Kingdom. Wooded Kingdom this time might not be as nice to them.
Yeah, it's one of those things again with the using that spawning moon from the nut to clip out of bounds. You only get one shot at it. If you mess it up, that's your route. Either your route is different, or you have to do the backup, which is slower. It's just one of those things that there is no wavering on that. It is either or. Like it's like with the Dram strat. If you miss it, you have to choose something else. You have to do something else, right? All these little things they're going to be going for. So all the things that went one way in last race could go another way this race. Who knows?
And we are on our way with the perfect sync. And once again, these runners starting with the spin pounds, flying through this early section. And yeah, we've gone through the basics. It's time to look at the things to do a little bit more precisely. One thing I actually really want to get into here really quick is one really cool thing we do here on this lever strat, where we once again use the first person strat to basically cut a little bit of the camera animation.
Yeah.
So right there.
So after you pull that switch, the camera is supposed to slowly pan back and show you this bridge raising. But if you go into first-person mode right before that happens, it instantly snaps into position, and the bridge just raises immediately. Tiny time savers like that all over.
And interesting decision right there, was really visible on screen. Stravos deciding to go for a normal roll start, as Suisaiga tried to go for the spin pound. But he probably lost a little bit of time right there, not having his inputs just fast enough to make that work. And Stravos showing once again, really strange for me, that he's actually playing safe in some of these situations, and it's working.
Yeah, but
That's still coming up.
Still coming out with a lead, after left side, heading into the boss fight against Topper here. Tiny things, it's like a second difference at this point, which isn't terribly much, but the things that Stravos goes for, like that spin pound jump dive onto the Topper there, that Suisaiga doesn't go for. They are time savers if you can get them to work, and he seems to have it consistent. So, power to him. He gets the time.
Definitely agree with you. And I feel like Cap at this point, most runners have it down. They've been playing it for literally almost a year now. And this is the place you reset in, because it doesn't really matter if you lose like 3 seconds of it in the grand scheme, but it doesn't feel right. It feels bad to take a bonk there.
Yeah, and looks like Stravos got a 220 flat cap, and Suisaiga got a 222 cap kingdom, which is, honestly ridiculous times, but
pretty stunning.
Already about a 2-second time lead for Stravos here. We'll see how the first Moonskip treats our runners this time. Stravos got it first time last run. Let's see if he can do it again.
He's gonna get it again.
Oh my goodness, he gets it. And Suisaiga,
nice.
Looks like he's also got it. They are both over the invisible wall. They are sequence breaking, my friends.
So that's what you really want to see starting off with this race. So Stravos going completely insane this time, going for the spin pound on top there, really once again showing why he is Stravos and going for these crazy strats. But Suisaiga playing it safe in this instance, and he's making it work. He's just barely behind, only because of the Cap Kingdom mainly.
I do want to take a little bit of a note here at this point. Stravos did actually take damage as he captured the golden chain chomp. Sometimes you can do that if you take damage on the same frame you capture it. It doesn't really slow you down. And in this case, we said before that moons heal you, but multi-moons don't have a healing animation, so you don't lose time or taking damage if it's right before a multi-moon. So he doesn't lose time on the damage animation because it's in the middle of a capture, and he doesn't lose time on the healing because it's from a multi-moon. So even though he took damage there, actually not a mistake, really.
Madame Brutal falling here pretty simultaneously. And this cascade is going to be very interesting to watch, because previously we have seen Stravos miss the out of bounds clip at the chest moon, which is the last moon we get here. And this alone might be able to get Sui ahead. I really want to look into this, because I feel people underestimate the power of this clip. And I'm pretty sure Stravos is gonna go for it, but if you miss it, you probably end up losing around 3 seconds to 4. And if Sui gets it, that's what he needs to be at. So I'm very interested for this last party of Cascade.
Yeah, it's easy to overlook because it's not as obvious a huge time save as the one in Wooded, right? But it's the same style of trick, so it's pretty easy to be like, oh yeah, I can do that, it's no big deal, or I can avoid it, whatever. But you know, it is a time saver, and if you are able to do the one in Wooded, you might as well go for this one. Here's Stravos setting up for it. Oh, that looked really good. That looked really good. Suisaiga, I'm not sure if Suisaiga got it actually, but he is out of bounds. Both of our runners able to get it. Very clean. Oh my goodness.
Looking at this right now, Stravos has not made a mistake so far. The instance of him taking damage there on the change-up maybe slowed him down a tiny bit, but pretty much not at all. And looking how good his Cap Kingdom was, this is an amazing start. But Suisaiga obviously still behind him, just
I
like
think
3 seconds or something.
Yeah, it's like 2.5 seconds. They're roughly, you know, exactly the same distance that they were ending Cap Kingdom at as they are at ending Cascade Kingdom. So really consistent, almost the same Cascade Kingdom from our runners, honestly. Really nice to see. Heading into Sand Kingdom, this is like the first big kingdom. This is where things can really start to change, as most runners have generally consistent movement at this point. Most people are doing the same thing, but because it's so vast and you have so much ground to cover, there's bound to be tiny little things that snowball into making your movement very different. So we could see some differences here start to crop up, and time gained or lost by either runner.
And let's think back, because last time Sand made Stravos actually get even more of a lead, because Suisaiga did have quite a bit of problems on the swing slip, and Stravos, one of the people that actually kind of mastered that trick at the very start of this series. We've seen the teaser where he literally found out a strat where he just rolls into the wall with like a super quick roll cancel. So he's really good at it. But as we see right here, that's Sui ahead. I was right about to say one mistake and one bonk, and Sui's in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things. Because of the camera angle, you can just roll, quote unquote, down, straight down, and immediately get sucked into the pipe. But if you miss it, you have to go, turn around, jump up, ground pound to go down into the pipe, which is 2 or 3 seconds. Which is exactly how far Suisaiga was behind, so now he's ahead.
He is ahead. And Stravos going for a spin pound here, playing that pretty well, might be able to save a tiny bit of time against Sui. It's super insane to see when these races are so close. These tiny little strats do matter in the big scheme. But a strat that will really matter this time is the Dram strat, because if you remember, Sui missed that one last time. So he really needs to make that work here if he wants to keep his lead. Dram strat, once again, being that capture warp strat up top, using an up throw.
Yep, so there's Suisaiga setting up, Stravos setting up.
Different setups. Stravos actually going for the faster setup when you use this route. And this is so interesting to see.
Oh my
you
goodness.
literally saw how Stravos saved time with his setup there. It was actually super visible.
Yeah,
because he used a way to capture the bullet bill closer to this next moon.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that if you're going for this route, which they both are, it's faster. And wow, I've actually never seen that live comparison like that before. That was super interesting to see. So here, coming up onto the Sting Slip, again, they want to do a roll cancel to clip into this wall, grab a moon, and then head into the loading zone. If they get it first try, that'll be huge. But Suisaiga did struggle last time with it. Stravos gets it first try. Suisaiga's struggling again. Unfortunate here.
Okay, nice.
He gets it much sooner than in the last race, actually. So, although he is falling behind here, it's not as big a hit on him as it was in the first race. Stravos grabbing quite a few coins.
I think we might be on a little roller coaster right here. So Suisaiga gaining the lead here up until swings, and now Stravos being in the lead one more time. Both of them opting once again for single clip, which is definitely the race-safe version. Once again, there's a version where you clip through the wall twice. It's really only worth if you do straight-up attempts where you can reset there, not really in a race.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, that now, again, Suisaiga was slightly ahead going into single clip. Now he's slightly behind, but this is recoverable for sure. He's basically half a moon behind Stravos at this point. As Stravos is finishing up the moon animation, Suisaiga is getting it. They're right on each other. He's right on his tail.
This is so interesting to watch. You guys might notice these tiny little difference between these ones. Stravos using the spin throw there instead of the normal throw, and he's gaining these little tiny fractions of seconds everywhere, and it's paying off here. It's visible.
Identical movement though to that cactus, both doing a spin throw into a dive, which does save a fraction of a second. You know, we've got to save all the frames we can.
Spin throw kind of elapses at the start, so it has more range initially capturing something.
And actually, SuisaigaW is super fast for his bird, so he and Stravos are both gonna have to go over to it to activate the bird, get the moon. These guys are so speedy.
So nodes coming up. Let's see strat differences right here. Actually, not at all. Both going for the same start. Stravos very fast spin throw. Actually, surely saving some time there, obviously, with a bit of sloppiness.
Yeah, he got stuck on that tree. Actually, had to jump off the top of it again. So, little bit of time lost there, being stuck in that jump animation when he just wanted to move. But yeah, not too big a deal at this point. That's a 950 globe from Stravos.
Yeah, and I was right about to point out, just looking at these paces, with both of these runs currently, you can get world record without a problem.
Oh yeah,
these are pretty insane paces.
And they're still, so I mean, again, Stravos, they left Cascade Kingdom with Stravos like 2.5 seconds in the lead. They are leading Sand Kingdom with Stravos about 3 seconds in the lead. Still, it's still so close. There's not a huge, I mean, SuisaigaW was in the lead for a little bit during Sand Kingdom, but then it swung back. Anything could happen still.
I mean, obviously, especially we are heading into Lake Kingdom right now, which is going to be once again, the winner of this kingdom is going to be the one that is more consistent, to be honest. There are these fast strats, but the one thing that really can't happen to you in Lake is falling down at the very start, bonking somewhere. This is where the huge time losses are. So if you play safe there in a race, that's probably a win for you. Would it though, you can not play safe. If you don't go for the nut clip route, you will fall behind.
And Stravos actually missed some roll boost there, a little bit of slower movement getting to this ground pound moon. SuisaigaW was able to nail, buffering a spin pound to get it immediately. So we say there's not a lot that goes on in the Light Kingdom because it's so short, but because it's so optimized, the small things like that really do matter, and they're visible, you know.
This is the big benefit of seeing a race head-to-head, seeing these tiny little things matter so much, seeing the knowledge of these guys. Stravos there missing a throw on the GG, and SuisaigaW fish bonking twice, as I was about to praise him for maybe gaining some time. But these things, they change the outcome of a race.
Yeah, bonking as a cheap is not nearly as bad as bonking while Mario, but it still does, it loses time, so it's unoptimal. Do not recommend.
Definitely agree.
Yeah, I mean...
So Pillar Moon coming up, pretty slow moon, some cutscenes going, boss fight, but these guys, I can tell you, these guys are not thinking about Lake right now. They're thinking about something else. And they're thinking about Wooded Kingdom, which is the kingdom coming up once again after this one with this very, very huge clip. Once again, remember, Stravos' last race actually missed the nut clip, which is the moon we use to clip out of bounds, and still won because he got a very, very fast backup. But if one of them was actually to miss the nut clip and then have issues with the backup, that's where it really starts hurting.
Just want to bring up our pre-race discussion as well. SuisaigaW was 100% for nut clip going in. He's still 100% for nut clip going into this Wooded. He has not missed it a single time in this tournament anytime he's gone for it. So, I mean, I'm a little bit biased here, but I'm just going with statistics saying I don't think he's going to miss it.
it's totally fair. And Stravos, even before this race, only with 75%, probably missed it once, missed it another time right here. So if I was to bet on anyone, I would bet on SuisaigaW getting this. But obviously, we want to see both of them getting that because that's just such a big hit if you miss that. It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and again, because it's not the first moon in the kingdom, they do have to do stuff beforehand. They grab a rock, they hit the bunny, they do the shot moon, but they're not thinking about that while they're doing those things. They're just going through the motions. It's muscle memory at that point. Like, all right, I need to get ready for nut clip. They're like, that's what's going on in their minds right now. You know, that's all that they're thinking about pretty much. So yeah, I mean, that's going to be the moment to see. Although it is important what comes beforehand. If we have seen some unfortunate things happen with the bunny, because that bunny, if you don't, because we approach from a certain angle with a certain velocity, you know, certain speed. If you miss him just because you're trying to go fast, he can really troll you, running around in circles and just dodging you. So Stravos here picks up the rock, able to hit the bunny, no big deal.
Not messing around. SuisaigaW doing pretty much the exact same movement, sniping the bunny here without a chance, and fast grab on that moon too.
If you want to talk,
Literally one movement.
if you want to talk very detailed, Stravos was actually able to keep his momentum a little bit better towards the rock while hitting the bunny than Suisaiga. Suisaiga lost a little bit of momentum there, but not the biggest deal. It's just little things like that, that because they're doing this subconsciously at this point, it does matter.
On the other side, Sui showing some other cool optimizations there on the NPC. But Stravos is going to come up at the infamous nut clip. So this is going to be the one where it really matters. Losing some speed there in the river. And he's going to set up here. He obviously didn't have a chance to practice it after his last race. And this one
that looks really good.
That should work.
Yeah, he is in the wall. He's got it. Suisaiga also in the wall.
I think he gets it.
Still 100%.
100% for Sui. Stravos getting it. Very fast movement out of bounds. You can still fall there, by the way. That you are not safe. And Sui, as I basically jinxed him.
Okay, he's still out of bounds. He's still on the little ledge. He still can recover. Oh my god.
He's probably so nervous. Right there, if you fall right there, you fall in these deep woods where you cannot recover. So he plays it very safe. Oh no!
Oh,
he's probably so
my
nervous.
god!
Oh no! Oh no! Oh my god! He clipped back and bounced. He was actually half bounced as he fell right there.
Yeah, so if you fall behind that wall, you can just fall straight down while you're out of bounds. There's nothing to grab onto. You just fall into the deep woods, and your route is done. But he was able to save it, get back onto where that little lever was. He's going to go for the backup here on the rock, losing a ton of time there. You know, we like to say it's over once you're out of bounds from the nut clip, but that's not true because that out of bounds movement is super sketchy, super janky to try to do optimally. So
okay, he gets the backup now.
So he's finally back out of bounds, trying to get this one moon. This is so hard because you know you can't really see what you're doing here. You have to go on feel based on practice, but he does finally get it. He's gonna get up to the ramp.
Okay.
And, yeah.
So he's at least back and bounds. So you might have heard us really getting excited last time because Stravos got this backup immediately after he failed the nut clip, and that's something that's not common at all. Usually you see people pretty much be in the same situation as SuisaigaW. This roll cancel clip is so much different. It's completely different to the swings clip or any other clip that's in the game. So it's very, very common to have some issues there. And Stravos abusing that and really getting a good lead here at the start. As he just saves that. That was actually so scary.
Well, he's gonna go for the backup, slightly slower, obviously, but he doesn't fall. He doesn't die. He doesn't fall into the deep woods. You know, it could have been worse for him for sure. He doesn't get the instant nut. It's fine.
Suisaiga, clean movement here.
Things not going optimally for Stravos, but definitely some struggles on Suisaiga's side, trying to get that out of bounds stuff. So he's gonna be probably like 45 seconds, almost a minute behind Stravos at this point, to be honest with you. I'm gonna kind of time it. I have a reference point, I can tell you exactly, but huge lead coming out for Stravos now at this point.
However, Stravos still needs to go through a very, very scary section. And falling right there, this little time loss, it might be once again this story, where Sui makes one of the bigger mistakes and keeps creeping up. So let's not forget what Sui is capable of here.
Yeah.
But Stravos is he has to do this very scary section. If you make a mistake here, if you fall at these wooden sections coming up later, you will actually also fall into the deep woods, probably losing around a minute, if not more. So he still needs to get through.
Yeah, so about a minute, almost 50 plus seconds separating the runners at this point. A little bit of janky movement though coming out from Stravos trying to get to the nut around the corner. So, you know, it's tiny things like that that let Suisaiga have a way in to reclaim this race and try, you know, things like not ground pounding into the water like Stravos just did. Things like that will really start to add up if he keeps having that happen.
At the start, it might not seem like it matters much. It might seem it's just a bonk. It's just a missed input. It's just some sloppy movement, but it does. Last race was the perfect example. Suisaiga is going to take advantage of that. And even though this almost seems like an unsurmountable lead that Stravos was building through his very clean out-of-bounds execution, you see Suisaiga flying through the section here, easily saving time over Stravos here.
Oh yeah, for sure. That movement to the nut around the corner was actually insane. That wasn't, you know, BTT level, but very, very clean from Suisaiga there, getting to that nut. Gets the clean ground pound into the pipe, into the sewers.
And if we speak about BTT in this game, basically referring to the best theoretical time that a human has achieved so far, we do keep track of these. But yeah, Suisaiga definitely showing off some clean movement there. Stravos still so that we can not underplay that fact that he's easily ahead at the moment. But
yeah.
once again, this run is getting started right now. And as long as nobody falls into the deep woods here, we always have a race.
Yeah, and again, Stravos coming up onto the Cloud Kingdom as Suisaiga is about to deposit his moons. Again, it's technically a kingdom, but it's in the 80% run is just a boss fight basically. These guys on autopilot. Although Stravos did have some hiccups in the boss fight Bowser in the Moon Kingdom, so if he can avoid doing that here, he'll be in good shape pretty much.
Exactly. And Stravos starting up his Cloud boss fight right here. Not sure how he is, how his relationship with Bowser is right now, as he almost actually denied him his last race win, losing a lot of time in the Bowser fight in Moon on his first win here. He's currently 1-0 in this best of 3 series, and that was the phase he had struggled with, but now he gets it.
Yeah, really nice execution there. Making sure to not make the same mistake twice. That's kind of the goal, is to make sure that you learn from what you do and just go faster. Easy. Getting the damage boost gets the 3rd cycle, so that's going to be a done boss fight for Stravos, as Suisaiga is just entering it.
So Stravos getting the Bowser fight just fine, but he's going to be heading into Lost Kingdom. And once again, we've seen what Lost Kingdom is capable of before. Actually, last race, these runners played there very well, but once again, poison all around the floor. Klepto potentially attacking you, stealing your head. So let's see how Stravos actually manages to go through here.
A lot of runners refer to this first jump off the tree, the meme tree jump, because it can meme you. It can really troll you and just do unexpected things to you. Just jump on the cliff, but Stravos is able to get it, no problems. I was actually a little bit close, actually. It was that landing on that ledge, but he's able to get it, no sweat. But that's far from being the hardest part of Lost done. That's just the beginning. That's the barrier to entry.
Making the jump happen just fine. As Stravos still has pretty much... This is now where the scary part really starts. Obviously, there's this first jump that you can fail, but falling here is even scarier, because once you've fallen here and touched anything, Klepto's actually going to be angry, and he's going to take you and steal your head. But I think he's kind of through the very scary part. Gets this moon, and is probably going to activate Klepto intentionally after that.
Suisaiga accidentally did a spin jump early, lost his momentum for the meme tree, and he missed the lead.
Oh my god.
Going
Stravos
to take death.
Damn. Stravos taking damage there, almost also falling into the poison. Sadly, obviously, Suisaiga taking that death. He's still fine on coins, but that's something he has not really to worry about yet.
Yeah,
coming up.
That time loss from the death is really going to hurt. He was behind to begin with, now further behind. The coins are the least of his worries at this moment, unfortunately. Stravos still going to set up for the triple jump up to the cage. Gets 1, 2, 3, dive. Cage broken.
That's so important. That trick is so hard, and it's always nice to see if runners actually get that successfully. Also, very fast spin pound there to get the moon below the bridge. And wow!
He gets the bonk, though.
That loses quite a bit, because he tried to actually save himself and didn't make it work.
Yeah, you can intentionally take the death and just warp back to the Odyssey, or you can save yourself, come up from under the bridge, and just roll back. But if you try to save yourself, and then you fail, you die, that's where the real time loss hits you.
For sure. So Suisaiga is going to be going through this block section right here, and obviously also still has to pass the very scary triple jump towards the cage. And after that, there's still these very big things coming up. Big things like the Mecha Wiggler fight. Big things like Snowdram, where we've seen runners literally lose a minute before. So once again, a race is not over until it's over.
Yeah, for sure. And Suisaiga also getting that very nice triple jump cage trick that Stravos got. He's going to try to save himself, and he does not bonk. He lives. So he gets that small time save over Stravos there.
All right, so just finishing up Lost. Stravos starting Night Metro. Once again, it's not expected to see a 3-cycle here, which is the very bad thing that can happen to you in the Mecha Wiggler fight. But we have seen it before in a race, so that's a big thing potentially coming up.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just vertical ascension. We saw Stravos as well fall a little bit in the City Hall climb, in the inside of Dark Metro, as it were. So it's a tough movement to get just right, and it can really mess you up, lose a bunch of time, because it's all vertical. You just fall, you gotta climb back up, so... making sure to get all this movement really nice so far. And he did get the Goomba jump here this time, so hopefully he can get a good internal City Hall and save the time that he lost last race.
All right, so Stravos getting on top of that elevator without any issues. This is once again some pretty hard movement. This hall in general, and we've seen it earlier, almost can lose you a ton of time if you make one single input mistake. So you definitely don't want to see that. Grabs that moon just fine. And this obviously blind camera jump is another thing that can potentially happen. But this is like the things that runners usually have down these days.
Yeah. Really clean mover from Stravos there. All he's got to do is do the Wiggler fight, and SuisaigaW actually falling. He was intending to land on that ledge and roll boost to the Goomba, but he's fallen all the way down, has to back it up, do this weird
That's
climb.
hot though. That's a cool backup. That's actually, probably if I was to fall in that spot, I would have lost way more time because I didn't know what to do, but he seemed to have very good knowledge about that mistake and backs it up just fine.
And that backup's actually really weird because you have to have correct spacing away from the wall. You actually go around the underside of a ledge to climb back up, and so it's easy to just go straight under the ledge and it'll like block you from going up. Basically, you have to go out away from the wall to go back in to climb. So really nice that SuisaigaW knows that backup and is able to pull it out. You know, really good response there.
Alright, so Stravos coming up at the very important part here of Make a Wiggler. He needs to land these shots. If he misses any single one of these and has the make go back into the wall, he's gonna lose 30 seconds, so let's see. That pattern seems fine, it's dependent on how he reacts to it. Misses one of the shots early.
Oh my goodness, that was clean. He's just gotta do that one. Yep, there it is. That's a
Good enough, definitely.
Yeah. Definitely low risk there of getting a 3-cycle for Stravos, so really nice he's able to avoid it. Not the fastest 2-cycle we've seen, but you avoid this 3-cycle. That's what's important.
Alright, and as Stravos is going to be picking up the multi-moon right here, and SuisaigaW is sitting through this very boring part where he can't do literally anything. I want to remind you guys one more time, make sure to check out the new GSA Twitch channels launching very soon, starting October, with fresh content. Check out Speedrun SMO, check out Speedrun SM64. Obviously, the bingo tournament is going to be, that we announced earlier, it's going to be launching on the SMO, Speedrun SMO channel, so make sure to drop follows there and enter the exclamation mark giveaway. SuisaigaW, though, coming up at his mecha shots.
It's like not a bad pattern. Little fireball's a little in the way of his vision there, but he's gonna get it before it even stops. Very, very nice Mecha Wiggler from SuisaigaW. And Stravos going for the capture warp that he missed last race, gets the warp. Turning his camera down because sometimes this can lag your game a little bit. There's so many things on screen. Gets the scooter clip drive-by, no sweat. He's on fire.
Stravos really playing clean. He obviously had some minor mistakes earlier, but obviously nothing close to what happened to SuisaigaW and Wooded. And once again, he's still behind a lot because of the very scary, and we've said this before, the very scary race-killing part of Wooded, which is the out-of-bounds section. But that's not even the middle of the race right now. And once again, the very hard tricks that actually can cost you so much are still on these guys' way.
Yeah, for sure. And so, I mean, Stravos really, he's not even halfway through Day Metro. SuisaigaW is beginning it. We said before it's a huge lead that he had coming out of Wooded, but I think SuisaigaW is getting time on him. I think he's catching up a little bit.
He's definitely, like, even though he fell at the start, like, of this night metro section, he's still creeping. That's SuisaigaW. Like, these things, look at these things. Stravos missing that one input there to talk to the drummer. Wouldn't look drastic, but in the end, these things add up. They add up. And suddenly SuisaigaW is not 40 seconds behind anymore. Suddenly he's 30 ahead, and then Stravos falls, and suddenly he's only 10 ahead. And this is how SuisaigaW can recover from this once again.
I mean, realistically speaking, we're not even halfway through this race yet. It's far from decided. So, I mean, like that Stravos delayed his dive there. It got that ground pound where he just hung in the air for a second, not doing anything. It doesn't seem like much, but it's time.
All right. So talking to the bassist right here, getting our second musician into the roster. Our band is not complete at all, but we are happy with the bassist and the drummer, and we can leave as far as we are concerned because we only want to get fast moons. We don't really care about the festival in this category. Wow, Sui with some, once again, Do you remember Stravos struggling there, having a fast strat for the drummer, but SuisaigaW abusing that first-person mode once again to cut off some camera animations and saving these seconds and these fractions of seconds.
Stravos actually running into the wall as he tried to keep his momentum around him, completely lost momentum, came to a full stop before heading to the garbage can moon. And SuisaigaW here going to be diving immediately, not hanging in the air like Stravos. It's really the little things like that that really are going to bring these runners close together. I think, yeah, I mean, he's gaining on Stravos little bit by little bit. It's hardly noticeable unless you know what to look for.
And it is visible. They're once again actually falling down is not the worst part, but he did miss the moon at the very start. So still able to grab that moon decently quick. We can also not underestimate that Stravos is still having a pretty solid run here so far. As I said, missing these ground pounds. And these things, this is pretty much, it's almost like it's a script. We pretty much explain this to you guys, but it's showing these tiny mistakes add up, and add up.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason we're saying it so much and we sound like a broken record is because, I mean, to be honest with you, part of it is I have to remind myself, like, it's not over. This race is not done, you know, and it still things that we were not expecting can and will happen. Like Stravos just missing the awning, bouncing off some humans before getting the bounce that he actually wanted.
He really got bullied there. He also got stuck by these guys. Literally built a barrier to kind of screw with him. SuisaigaW also missing his very fast strat there, but definitely not the biggest deal. And talking about big deals, one of the biggest one that is pretty much the very important thing coming up, Snow Kingdom is the next kingdom in the game.
Yeah, I actually forgot to look at Stravos' coin counter, but SuisaigaW has got 106. He's good on coins to head straight into the
Stravos should be fine. I think he had over 100 in Metro.
He actually messed up his Sphinx room a little bit. His cap throw was not the way he wanted to be. He didn't get to the moon in time, but as a result, he got way more coins than he bargained for, so I think he's good on coins. Yeah, he's heading straight to the Snow Kingdom.
He should be. He should be good on coins, but once again, SuisaigaW creeping, getting these moons way better, obviously, than Stravos. Not getting bullied by the people, not missing the awning. So saving these seconds. And Stravos is heading into Snow right now. And one thing that is actually really important to mention, Snow is not all about Snowdram. Snow has this very, very dangerous poison room, Blowy Joey, Typhoon, whatever you want to call it, in our routes. And we've seen people lose a minute there or something. We've seen literally in this tournament, we've seen someone die there 3 times. And it's possible.
Oh yeah, it's because it's cycle based. You're kind of on a timer. You have to make good movement to get to where you want to be on time. And if you're slow, you will lose time. If you mess up and go too wide on your way there, you will fall into the poison and die and lose time. I mean, everything is fighting against you there for the time that you want to save. Basically, it's a constant struggle. But it only takes like 15 seconds. So. You know, it's over and done before you can even realize if you do it fast, which is kind of the problem, right?
Exactly. So this start here from Stravos, really clean. Really clean movement, also entering the inside of Shivaria Kingdom. Also this movement, not a problem for him. Usually these first moons are pretty quote-unquote easy to get. It really gets hard and mostly punishing inside of these subrooms and obviously in Snowdram.
Yeah, for sure. But so it's actually these runners are not going for a moon clip. It's like the one in Wooded with the nut. This ground pound moon that Stravos just spawned, you can do the exact same thing. You spawn this moon, use it to clip out of bounds to just immediately go down to this door instead of jumping down. It saves a little bit of time, but not a lot. But it, you know, all kinds of things. Oh, Stravos actually messing up his movement there.
He can still actually having to ground pound all the way back down and getting that spin pound still, not the worst outcome, but easily losing around 3 seconds on this mistake.
Yeah, we say there's not much RNG in this game. Those spiny positions are actually random, and so if the spiny is exactly where you want to roll, you have to jump over it. You'll mess up your movement, mess up your rhythm, and you'll miss the cycle probably, like Stravos just did. So he was actually super unfortunate in that he had to completely back it up with that ground pound to gain all that height that he had lost, but yeah, sometimes it's just what you got to do.
It's interesting though. So Stravos has not even left that room yet. Basically, as SuisaigaW already is entering it on the left side of the screen. Obviously, there is a lot of cutscenes, but Sui getting this triple jump and once again creeping. This is literally how this race is going right now.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like I mean, Stravos hasn't made run-killing mistakes, right? But but Suisaiga, again, the picture of consistency is just playing very, very well and doing everything right that Stravos is getting not quite right. Time really adds up.
Stravos, though, clean movement, he should make that, yeah. He kind of fell a bit low, I was a bit concerned, but not low enough to make that not work anymore. And he's done with the Goomba room. It's probably going to be the same occurrence once again. Suisaiga is going to enter this room, and Stravos is going to leave it. But
Yeah.
Stravos coming up at the scary part.
Alright. So, Stravos just has to buy this one moon, and again, like in Wooded, when we were doing the bunny and the rock, we were thinking about Nutclick, right? He's buying this moon, he's doing some menuing, there's some cutscenes. He's thinking about the Snowdram jump. He's tuned out everything he's doing right now. He's
yeah, this is pure muscle memory at this point.
Mm-hmm.
This is not even, he's not even thinking about what he's doing, as you just said. And he's gonna come up at this now. So last time he tried to go for a super quick setup, and it actually ended up costing him a bit of time. I'm interested to see if he's gonna play it safe here.
So, lining up his camera, getting the right angle. Vector. Oh, he's a little. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
I thought he was a little bit short for that, actually. That was super scary.
Snowdram is so interesting. Everyone really has his own setup for it, and it kind of looks different for everyone. But Stravos playing that very clean, and that's interesting to see, though. So Sui just buying that moon, he definitely there's no way that Sui didn't gain time on Stravos during these last kingdoms. He was definitely further behind than he is right now. And if he makes the jump work first try, he's definitely still in this.
So I think he's gonna get about the same speed setup actually that Stravos got. That vector looked really good. Oh no! Suisaiga's gonna bonk, fall all the way down.
Oh, that hurts so much. It was the one thing that he really didn't like to see.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is the one thing in the run. There is no backup for this. You just have to warp back to the Odyssey and try it again. That's all there is for it. Suisaiga does get a second try, but that is quite a bit of time lost versus Stravos getting it first try. So even more time difference cropping up for Suisaiga here.
Stravos all cancels through that moon right there. Very interesting.
Yeah, he's got quite an uphill battle if he wants to win this race at this point.
It is very interesting though. Like, even though that's probably gonna add, I think Sui, as he approached Snowdram, might have only been like 30 seconds behind compared to the 45 or something earlier. And he probably lost another 15 making this mistake. But this game, looking at the time right now, is probably still around 25 minutes long. And if he keeps playing at that rate, we've seen Stravos lose like 18 seconds once again in this very last Bowser fight in the last race. And I'm not going to call anything, but right now, Sui is probably going to be a bit reliant on Stravos making mistakes. One of them potentially coming up here.
Yeah. So here's the Rocket Flower refresh that we saw last race. Stravos got it first time last race. No problems. He's going to go for it again. Gets the first part. And he's setting up the second. Gets the ground pound. And he has refreshed the duration of that Rocket Flower.
Very interesting to see. So he actually intentionally looked at Dory, which is the kind of Lapras Pokemon-looking thing on the left side right there, to make her start moving. Because if you don't have her on camera, she's not going to move at all. So you need to basically bring her in your view.
Yeah, it's going to be important for later as there are so many cycle-based things in this game. And one of the interesting things that you touched on is that things aren't really active until you look at them. Right.
Exactly.
Some things will be active, like the bird cycle in Sand Kingdom, but some things only activate once you look at them. So unless you're looking at an enemy, sometimes you can't capture them. If you're not looking at Dory, it's not going to start swimming to be the spot you want. So very important that he looks at them so that the moon is here where he wants it.
Stravos this time, though, definitely showing what he's capable of as far as Seaside goes, because these fish movements in general are actually really hard to get just right. And once again, Commentators course coming in hot, literally, completely destroying the runner, as he has no chance to retreat from the curses I'm basically casting on him. No, he was actually doing so well with his fish before I started to say that. But having obviously some bigger time losses there with the damage refill as well.
Meanwhile, very interesting on Suisaiga's side. He got the first Rocket Flower refresh, while taking notes. They didn't go for the second one. He just immediately captured the moon and then or got the moon and then captured the Gushing to go over to the Cheap Cheap. So not going for the second part, which Stravos got maybe a little scarred from the first race where he lost a lot of time on that. So, you know, personal choice there, but yeah, so he got the first refresh.
Definitely agree. So Stravos is gonna come up at Luncheon Kingdom right now. And once again, if there's any place where you can easily lose time, and we kind of want to have a little throwback. So last race, Luncheon Kingdom was going so well for both of them, both getting that amazing turnip clip. But that's not how Luncheon goes every time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always nice when you get to see the beautiful things happen. Like, oh my god, both the runners did it in sync. They both got it first try. It was awesome. They got saved all the time. Amazing. But that's not how reality is. You know, obviously, sometimes things go very wrong. Suisaiga struggling here, getting some fish blocks. But we like to see things go right. But realistically, you know, the way that Suisaiga gets back into this race is Stravos doing unusual things, like not doing the salt pile triple and instead going to the ledge. What? I don't know why he did that, honestly. That's very unlike Stravos to go for a slower strat that he's not done in quite some time.
The only thing I can imagine if he like unintentionally had a bad angle at the start there, or maybe he actually just wants to play it super safe because he's aware of his current position. I have no idea, but that's actually very uncommon. Something I would have never expected from Stravos. They're using a slower strat.
Yeah, very unusual. But he is still in the lead, and as long as he is playing safe and making sure to avoid huge, you know, say huge, could be huge time losses, could be a lot of little time losses. If he can avoid them, he will maintain his lead most likely and clutch out this race and win the tournament. So I mean that's his goal at this point is just to clutch it out. Suisaiga, on the other hand, will be having to do all the hardest stuff, all the biggest time savers, and try to catch up, do his best to you know, regain the time lost.
If Suisaiga ends up not winning this, he at least won the love of the salt, doing the salt pile jump there, not dodging that one and doing the hard strat there, being a real man. But yeah, Stravos right now not leaving too much room for error, arguably being in the easier part of Luncheon though for sure.
Yeah. And good spirit fights from both of our runners. It's, again, pretty easy. Stravos not making the mistake he made last time, rolling off the side, instead getting the long jump that he wanted, getting the double spin pound, gets the moon. Very clean movement.
Okay. So yeah, Stravos is really playing pretty incredibly here in Luncheon. And once again, looking at his overall pace, this run is still pretty stunning, actually. If we just think about the way this run went, Suisaiga still actually saving some time with some small strats over him. But other than that, Stravos is playing very well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, again, that optimal bonk from Stravos just to make sure to be in just the right spot to get that moon. Unfortunate ledge grab there from Suisaiga. He wanted to jump down and open that hat door, but Mario said, no, don't let me go down. I want to grab the ledge. So, little things like that. Again, really nice roll canceler from Stravos.
Beautiful.
He's gonna capture this thing. Oh, okay, so got the moon. He's gonna capture this lava bubble. Move on over to the Forks room again. Motion control city, doing all those up throws.
Wow, this Luncheon is actually incredible though from Stravos. So even though we've kind of looked at Suicide more, almost cheering him on to gain these little time windows back, but this Luncheon is very, very good here from Stravos. I'm actually quite interested in what pace that would be this entire run.
Yeah,
this looks very good.
I'm curious to know what pace he's on as well. I'm probably gonna pull something up on my second monitor here so I can give some more live stats, but this is a really good run from Stravos at this point.
Because another incentive that obviously is still on this table is not only the win here in any percent, but the race world record, the fastest time that anyone has ever gotten in a race, as Stravos really flies through this turnip section. He's playing so well in this Luncheon, is a 101.50. And Stravos with this run might still be able to get that. Like, he's playing really well. And this probably, he has to readjust the turnip. That loses some time.
Yeah, it was a little bit far away from the cage. It doesn't need to be right up on it in order for you to recapture the bro and clip in. So if it's too far away, you do have to reposition it, unfortunately. That is the only mistake I've seen thus far in his luncheon, aside from not going for Salt Triple, which is not a mistake, it's just a choice. So.
All right, Sui clean movement here in Fox, getting this moon very quickly. In Stravos, once again, he has to readjust the turnip. He is the story moon cutscene ahead and also the movement of turnip, of clipping with the turnip in general. He still has this harder section here of luncheon on his way, though. Like, once again, these rocks there, we've seen people fall. You can lose a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gets a spin pound.
The vault, triple jump. Really nice movement, and he's not gonna spin pound again. I don't know, maybe he just hates that spin pound, I don't know, but...
Playing it safe here and I actually can respect it. Like, he's probably aware that he's on a pretty tough to beat run, so he might just say, it's better for me to play it safe. But Sui, on his side, probably can make this turnip clip work first try again. Getting the Kobe throw into the cage, let's go.
Whew, that was hot.
Stravos on the other end, finishing luncheon. Gonna end up in Ruined Kingdom. And by the way, just mentioning that real quick, so it has not happened in this tournament yet, and it might already turn into a meme to say it's not over yet, but if you die in Ruined, and I really don't want to cast this spell on anyone, but if you end up dying in Ruined, you probably lose around 2 minutes, and every lead you basically build is just gone. But it's fairly unlikely, just making sure that things like that can happen. This is a competition, this is a race.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to speak it into existence because, you know, commentators curse and such, but...
Yeah, okay, I don't want to be, like, it shouldn't be my fault if it was to happen. Just
I'm gonna fully blame you.
No, just making sure. I think Opa just messaged me. Oh, Sui.
Did not get the spin throw. No. Dove and he fell all the way down. He's
My
climb
heart
all
is
the way back up.
bleeding.
Oh my goodness.
And once again, this is Super Mario Odyssey, any percent in some instances. Trying to do spin throw to save half a second, missing the spin throw and losing a year. But gets the fast throw there.
And as a side note, I just wanted to comment, Stravos, I believe, is barely almost, but he could potentially be on 101 pace, on pace for a time of 1 hour and 1 minute and some change. So not on world record pace, I don't think, but could still get a really good time here. Really tough to beat for pretty much anyone aside from Suisaiga and a handful of others. So yeah, I mean, really insane run coming out from Stravos here.
So do keep in mind that the actual race world record currently is held by Suisaiga, being that 101.50. So it would kind of be the double win from Stravos here if he was able to not only beat him in the series and get the title here in the Any Percent tournament, but also beat his race world record. Interesting to look at. We'll see what happens. At first, he needs to fight a dragon.
Yeah. Again, this is the resident sleeper part of the run. I don't think a single runner is like actually looking at the game at this point who's doing this. So, like, you know, looking at their phone, reading chat, getting some water, just chilling out, because this is always the same and you can't ever speed it up. It's just a fixed length.
You almost would say it's hard to mess up this fight. You really need to kind of intentionally troll a bit and kind of not take the fight too seriously to take these additional hits. And the way you can die in this fight is actually if you mess around a bit, take damage on one of the hoops, and then you do the damage boost, right? So you'll be at 1 HP, and then the dragon is actually spawning these little enemies on his head. And if you get hit by them, it's over.
You die, and then you could do the whole thing over again. Which, if you're on the last phase, like Stravos is, or sorry, yeah, the last phase, and then you die here. I don't think he's going to because he's got 2 HP, but...
Wow, that was actually so good. Those pins, they were such clean and precise throws.
Yeah, I mean, if you do die in that last phase, you cry, and you're sad, and that's... Yeah, it's actually over if that happens.
it is actually over if that happens for Sui now. It would take a miracle, but I'm not assuming that he's gonna die here, so we're still gonna have this race going. Stravos, though, is still on very hot pace, entering Bowser's Kingdom. His pace, he has the potential to obtain a very fast time, potentially even that race world record.
Yeah, I don't know if he can still 101. It's really close, actually, but it's definitely a hot pace.
Definitely agree.
All right, so exiting the meme kingdom, heading into Bowser's.
Sui not quite out of it yet. Still has this last
Yeah.
phase to go. Hopefully not taking damage on one of these hoops. I don't want to have my heart stopped here.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Oh wait, he is actually at 1 HP.
1 HP.
Monk.
If he
Don't
gets
do
hit
it.
by the enemies here, there's one. Oh, he gets hit by Cappy.
Oh my god,
Oh,
he's actually so
he's
slow.
He's
I'm
getting
scared.
chased down.
Oh.
All right. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
He's alive. It's not over, guys. It's still not over. He's fighting. He's in this race.
But yeah, I mean,
He's behind, but he's still in this race.
again, you know, Bowser's is where nerves are highest. There's the most tension. Things can go the most wrong. Falling off mech, dying to, getting bonks, dying to some bosses. I'm still going to claim there is a way for Suisaiga to win this race, but Stravos really has to have things go wrong for him at this point because he is very solidly in the lead. We have to see quite a few mistakes come out of Stravos in order for Suisaiga to have a fighting chance, realistically. So he's going to be looking to just play it safe and make sure that he's, keeping a cool head at this point. Cool head and staying calm will win him this race.
Yeah, definitely keeping it cool is what he needs to make this work. So the one thing that he cannot allow to himself yet, and even though he has built up that very strong lead, but there is still these few things that he cannot have happen to him. One of them, like even a death here is probably fine for him to still hold on to a lead, but there's these 3, I guess, very huge things that can't happen. He can't lose a lot of time in the Mecha Brutal fight, which is the last fight in his kingdom. He can't lose time in the Bowser fight because these adds up so quickly if he makes huge mistakes. And he cannot fall in the escape section or in the 2D section at the very end. Like, these are the things that are probably on his mind right now, thinking, how can I lose? What do I really need to avoid? Where do I really need to play safe? But currently in the shard section, playing that one very well.
Had a little bit of problems with the shard by the Spinies, but able to recover it. Didn't hit anything major, no bonks, just kind of lost momentum and such. So could have been worse. Again, it's the safety, right? It's not committing yourself to things that will really, really come back to bite you.
Right, interesting, and I feel like I've seen this so much. This is exactly the gap, and don't even start with memeing, Okra, but this is exactly the gap where race is actually still winnable. I'm not even kidding, because Suisaiga just picked up that first story moon, and Stravos picked up that story moon, like the one story moon after him. And this is the one gap where there is still some breathing room, still some amount of chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Stravos not going for that harder capture warp there after that moon on the roof. Again, making sure to play it safe because he knows what's at stake and he knows that something dumb like, oh, I missed my dive input and I ground pounded to my death. That is how Suisaiga gets back into the race at this point.
Exactly,
And that's what he wants to avoid.
Alright, so Stravos fighting Harriet here, and we haven't even gotten the chance to talk about her. It's very unfortunate, Bonk. They're actually not only bonking, but getting shot by the cannon.
Yeah, taking damage,
Harriet...
so he's gonna have to heal. Oh my goodness. So many things happening.
So many things happening at the same time. Harriet being a boss that you are supposed to be refighting here we skip her entirely in sand because she's very slow. Has some cutscenes going through. We cannot fight her. She's too slow. So it's our first encounter with her. But here we have to fight her. There's no way to skip her. Very, very sadly. This is, by the way, another shout out to any one of you watching at home. If anyone ever finds a way to skip these boss fights and still fight the final boss, which doesn't seem possible right now, we would love you forever. But probably not gonna happen, realistically.
Yeah, so many things in this game that seem like they could potentially be sequence breaks. Suisaiga going for the capture warp again, and again, capturing it too soon, warping before it gets to the moon.
This is super tight, so he shakes the controller before as he gets it right there. He shakes the controller as he goes into the moon. So if you just mistimed it just a tiny bit, you will actually warp back instead of getting the moon.
Yeah, but so many things in this game, I was trying to say, seem like they could be sequence breaks, but don't quite work just because of something,
Yeah, sadly.
It's really unfortunate.
The Nintendo has done an incredibly good job to avoid any sort of sequence breaks. There is this entire Brunchen phenomenon, which is like a super weird state of Luncheon Kingdom that you can access early, but it kind of locks you out of really breaking the sequence. So yeah, shoutouts to Nintendo. They are basically not shoutouts. We are kind of angry that it doesn't work, but they did a good job avoiding sequence breaks.
As a programmer, I respect it. But yeah, really nice, clean Harriet fight here from SuisaigaW heading into... Man, I always just get really nervous when I see runners do that jump that Stravos just did, but he's able to do it really nice. I mean, they got it down at this point. It's nothing to worry on their part, but just it looks nerve-wracking to me. I always just gasp when I see it. But yeah, looking to get a clean topper fight as well for SuisaigaW, so he can just move on with his life and be done with boss fighting, so he can move on and do the climb that Stravos just did.
Stravos not quite being done with boss fights yet on his end, because he's about to fight the very scariest one of them, being the Mecha Brutal, and this is once again a potential huge time loss. Let's see how this goes. So he does get his very fast climb, incredibly
into the
fast.
spin pound. He gets the spin pound as well, which is sometimes it can be a little bit tricky based on your position, but he gets it. Gets the second buffered spin pound onto topper there. Very nice. Gonna get on top, and he's just gonna wait while the so the mech is running around at this point. It's got rainbow legs, you can't really see, but its legs are indicating that it's invincible. It actually is invincible. You cannot ground pound Harriet early here, so you just gotta wait, get the setup.
But this is once again the scary part. So you gotta hit this bubble, which is easy, but the snipe on top of this bubble is actually hard. So we did find a pretty good setup. Let's see how Stravos gets that. Cap dive, dive, spin pound. He gets it just fine.
Perfect mech.
Wait, so now I'm really curious though. So he didn't really make any mistakes, as far as I'm concerned. And he's probably going to be leaving Bowser's here still on 101 pace, if I'm not mistaken.
Moon Shard's movement was a little slow, but that's it, I think. Everything else is really clean.
So we will be able to tell you as he basically splits here towards the end of this of the Bowser's Kingdom. Because once again, making sure the current race world record, and he might be able to, if he wins this, to get both like 2 strikes with 1, getting the race world record and the win of this tournament. The current race world record is a 1 hour, 1 minute and 50-second time. So that's maybe something Stravos has on his mind. As Sui does not get the climb he wants, but he doesn't fall, which is important.
In position to buffer the spin pound onto topper, and he's got it. Gotta climb back on top now and wait for the boss to run around a little bit as Stravos is depositing his final moons into the Odyssey. Gonna be heading off to the Moon Kingdom to fight Bowser and then do the escape sequence. So I think at this point, I think I want to say Stravos cannot get a 101 time at this point, but he is able to get a low 102 actually.
Yeah, that's for sure. So let's see Sui getting that snipe just fine. That's what he still needed to still kind of be in this, especially with like 2D skip still being the very big thing, because similar to Ruins, where you lose like 2 minutes dying, if you die at the very end of escape section, you probably lose around the same amount of time because you get set back to the start of where Bowser starts running.
And here's Stravos coming into the Moon Kingdom again with the moon gravity. You're really floaty, you can jump really high and such, so he's going to be using that property to gain some additional distance by going diagonal, using these vectors.
Wait, I'm actually pretty sure he can still get a 101, actually looking at the timer now. I think his moon gold is like a 514.
Oh, that's right. He has his moon gold. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. He's a bit inhuman when it comes to moonplay, so he still needs to play fine. But I think he might still be able to get the race world record here if he was to play just quote unquote perfectly, or without many major mistakes or even minor mistakes. As he, for example, he cannot miss this Moonscape coming up right now. So let's see how this goes. Actually trying to go for a spin point. They're really trying to style, but decides to play it safe.
Really cheeky there.
Okay, nice. And gets it and doing his very own signature jump across there. Very fast.
So spooky. Oh my gosh. If he were a little bit lower, he would have bonked on the side of that bridge and fallen all the way back down. Oh my goodness. That's
right.
Spooky.
Heading into the, this is surely a 101 pace heading into the Bowser fight. If he was to play this well, he can definitely get that time. But right now, he still needs to win a race, so he still needs to get through Bowser. And as we remember, last race, this almost cost him his first win.
Yeah, it was very, very close because of his mistakes on the second cycle of Bowser. So just finished the first one. He's gotta wait around now for Fire to come out, and then he's gonna hopefully not make the same mistake that he made last race as Suisaiga is beginning his Moon Kingdom.
Alright, so this is kind of the chill phase. As you said, you just jump over the fire here.
He's gonna backflip and capture this hat. He's got it.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's what he really wanted, so getting that second phase, and his pace right now is looking pretty spicy, actually.
Alright. So he's got to play jump rope with Fire one more time, hit him one more time, and then do the escape sequence. He will be out of here. Suisaiga setting up for his Mooncave skip on the top of the Sphinx. Missing the ground pad, actually. He has to climb back up and do it again. A little bit unfortunate there,
Last phase
but...
kind of hits the head on the side there. I don't really like this, so he's still able to get that. This is important. So right now, I'm actually really cheering for Stravos maybe making this race world record just a little bit better, because we've seen it grow and grow and grow, and it's getting so close to the actual world record just due to these insane events hosted here by Global Speedrun Association. And looking at this is technically race world record pace. If he plays just perfect, he plays well enough, he can get race world record in this run.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. I mean, he has to play so well, though.
He has to play super well. He needs to get the early pillar. He needs to... But usually this is his strong part. This movement here is where he excels. This movement, these theoretical movement inputs is where he can gain these little fractions of seconds.
Yeah, for sure. Got the one,
Optimal movement so far. Very clean.
Suisaiga playing some jump rope.
Coming up into Moonscape, which is still like the one scary thing that you really cannot miss. Which would maybe potentially even Sui still give a chance to do something here. But his race world record would obviously die immediately.
First jump. One,
fast,
two.
fast,
Fast, boys.
Wow, this 2D movement, he's
actually...
He has the target locked right now. He wants this world record, it seems.
He was running
this
so
race world
fast.
record, by the way. Just making sure again, he's not an actual world record pace, but that would be the fastest race time we've ever seen. And he's on pace to maybe just barely get it. It's going to be super close, super close.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he needs to play optimal. He needs to play optimal pillars. It's possible though.
Alright, so he has to aim all these fireballs really well, hitting the first pillar on the right here. That first one looks... Oh, that's close.
The first one missed, so he did one additional shot. That's still probably possible. It's going to be incredibly close. And one call that I do not want to make right now is if the time on our timer right now is actually completely accurate, timed with his timer, because we did do some syncing work to have these guys start at the same pace. But right now, doing good work here in Pillar's room, getting these shots in.
Oh, he actually missed the early pillars, where he's trying to get the snipe in. The blind snipe.
Missed it. No,
yeah,
that's so sad. I thought he had gotten it.
Yeah, I thought so as well. I mean, so yeah, he actually missed the early pillar, so he's trying to finish it off with one snipe, but he was trying to do it blind without even looking at it, so he just completely missed, completely whiffed it, whiffed the race world record.
So close.
But
that's
it
gonna
is still
be
a 101 time.
That is still
101.
gonna be
57.
Wow.
Stravos closing out the race, closing out the tournament. He is going to be the champion of the Any tournament.
GG, Stravos taking the prize, taking the first place of the first Any tournament. Deserved. I gotta say it. It was deserved. Two incredible times. A low 102, a very high 101. He definitely deserves the title for sure.
Yeah, congratulations to Stravos. I mean, Suisaiga here going to be finishing out, because I mean, they were 9 seconds apart in the first race, which is just insane to think about still. He's only going to be closing out, you know, probably like a mid 103, which is really, really still a good time. I think that's still a top 10 time. Or maybe not at this point, but top 15, you know, like a really, really good time to pull out in a race. These guys are absolutely at the top of the ladder, really, really fast boys. Super excited to see these kinds of races on the Global Speedrun Association channel, and we're going to see more stuff more Odyssey content in the future on Speedrun SMO. You know, coming up with
This
that hot
is
pickle
just the very beginning. We have such a
Yeah.
long way to go, and this was obviously an insane tournament. First race, incredibly close. Second race, Stravos showing off, getting the 101 time. Suisaiga ending this one with, assuming like a mid 103. We are going to be able to tell the exact timing as he shoots out of this wire. But Stravos really showing what he's made of, showing off, getting a very good time, winning the tournament. And I think we actually do have the honor to speak with the man, the myth, the legend, the champion, Stravos96. GG's, man. How's it going?
Hey guys. Ooh. That second race, I was doing quite well. I think my biggest mistake was wooded.
Yeah, that seemed to be the case. I mean, we were being overly critical and nitpicky of you, just picking on little things here and there. But honestly, that was really clean overall. Really, I mean, you got a 101 in a race. That's awesome.
Yeah. At one point, I was thinking, oh, maybe I can snag the race world record here, but nah, it wasn't meant to be. Still a great time, but I was seeing a little bit of chat not having faith that races can really turn around. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I was
kinda gotta
catching
scold you
some
guys.
of these some of these notes too. They might have actually not been watching the entire time. I cannot let this through. You guys probably have to follow this channel right now to be told otherwise, because I mean, I actually really want to talk about, like, this was a very convincing win. As you said, you played incredible, but I really want to talk to you especially about the first race, because it was so close, and I really want to talk to you about what happened, like, in your mind in this Bowser fight, especially as you kind of basically felt Sui creep on you, probably, if you were aware of the pace, if even at all.
Yeah, so I knew that with the 5-minute delay, I knew that we were going to end up being close if I made a mistake in Moon. And I made a pretty big mistake in Moon. I can't get away from the Moon mistakes, I guess, lately. It was a strange one, too. Something that a lot of runners have encountered. It's phase 2 of the Bowser, which sometimes the hat grab can just not work out.
I feel you so much, yeah. Well, you still managed to pull through there. Obviously having some... Also, by the way, one thing that is really, like, promising, like, this is the beginning of a racing culture, hopefully, where we'll see a lot of upsets. And currently you probably have been establishing as one of these racing favorites out of, like, from the get-go, as we basically started the race, like, culture here in SMO. And sometimes you really just pull through. Especially, I want to talk about that wooded backup just really quick. I'm not sure if you were surprised, if you practiced that at all, but the way you backed up that first failed nut clip attempt was just astonishing. Like, you just exactly knew what to do, and you got it first try.
Yeah.
Is that something you've been practicing just for this race or in general?
Ever since the new route was first discovered, like, we didn't actually know about nut clip itself for a while. So we actually discovered that backup that I did with rock clip first. And immediately when that was discovered, I just went ham trying to do that and learn it and go fast, you know? And I think I'm the fastest person at it.
It looks like it. I cannot disagree with you there.
I obviously got a fast one in that. I think for the best theoretical timesheet that the community is working on, I think I might have beaten the one that I had in the sheet before Nutclip was found, actually, with that.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
really good.
That was really fast and astonishing to see. But Stravos, GG's on the win, taking the honor, taking the title, the money, taking it all, the glory, even the clocks, taking it all. What can you even say to this man at this time? If you want to quickly get into 2 points right now, actually 3. I'm gonna get it all. 1, make sure to stay tuned, because we will be having the SM64 Bingo Best of 5 finals between Cheezo5 and ToastRider91 immediately after this, after a short intermission. And this is going to be insane. It's going to be just as intense, if not more. So you definitely have to watch this one. Also, insane commentary coming up from Pity and Simply. So the boys are back. Make sure to warm up your clocks to welcome them very soon here. Also, make sure to enter the giveaway if you have the chance. Follow these new upcoming GSA channels if you like the show, if you liked speedrunners like Stravos pushing the envelope when it comes to racing content. And as a very last thing, I do have one more surprise for you guys coming into the new Speedrun SMO channel. Bingo is not going to be all, so make sure to take a look.